Wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep? The real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. What a gorgeous afternoon out there. High temperature 78 degrees under mostly sunny skies and a nice low humidity. 53 overnight, so not quite as chilly as what we saw this morning. Another warm up for tomorrow, 84 degrees, mostly sunny and a little more humid.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 17 points to 40,096. Hour of the Drive brought to you by North Carolina Amateur Sports. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Burns will get to it. Kept in by Carolina. Spinning chance. They score! Andrei Svechnikov. No hesitation. Played up for Nason. Nason taking it around Slavin. What a play by Jacob Slavin. Slavin goes short side. He scores! Roll the highlight reel. Across the ring for Jarvis. Looking for a tip. They'll score! And Andrei Svechnikov. Now be kept in. Burns hammers one. Rebound still there. And it's knocked and they score! They'll get it across Svechnikov. Bingo! Hat-trick goal!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. Heard some Canes highlights. They lead the series over Jersey, 3-1. You also heard me say it's a Monday, which means we will have a Monday sound off at about 3:30 today. We'll open up the phone lines for all of your takes, all of your questions, all of your comments, concerns, NFL draft related, NHL playoff related, obviously specifically Hurricanes related, transfer portal related, whatever you want to talk about, we're here for it, starting at 3:30. Right now, I want to talk about the Canes getting the 3-1 lead. And I'm not superstitious, but I do think I have to own up to something here, Dennis.
You're a little stitious?
Yeah, I mean, we're learning that a little bit about the goalies. I think Friday was on me. The loss. I've watched every single minute live of games 1, 2, and 4. Game 3, I had a wedding. One of my wife's friends had a wedding, so I couldn't watch. And even when I got there, my cell service wasn't great, so I couldn't even super stay up to the draft or the Canes. And worse, the wedding was in Dallas. So I was kind of too close to where Rantanen ended up, and it just felt like there was bad energy. They lost on Friday. It was a Friday wedding, so it was all going on Friday. I will put it this way, though. I don't feel like I've suffered with the fan base the way Friday should have, because I ended up, and I've now watched every minute of both Games 3 and Games 4. I've now ended up watching it all, but I watched in reverse order. On Sunday afternoon, I watched all of Game 4, and then I watched Game 3. And I'll tell you like this. Obviously a slow start on Friday. Didn't get the first goal till the third period. Doesn't sting as much when you already know that Svech scores in the first minute of Game 4. Right? It's like, all right, they solved it. Cool. Love it. This stinks watching it, but I know it's already solved, so I don't have to worry about it. Seeing Slavin get beat by Bratt, Jesper Bratt, on one of those goals on Friday, right, and end up being Mercer's goal, but Slavin involved, doesn't hurt as much when you know Slavin makes maybe the coolest play of the day on Sunday when he just picks Nason's pocket and then finds an impossible angle goal, turning defense to offense. Right, it's the whole like Aho and Jarvis, right? Combine on a couple of clutch goals in the third period. Then you watch the overtimes and you learn that those goals are kind of wasted, right? They don't steal a win for you. Hurts. Till you know that you have a Svechnikov playoff Hattie coming your way on Sunday. Doesn't sting as much. So I kind of, if you can somehow predict the future, I kind of advise don't watch the losses until they've already bounced back with a win. It really doesn't make the losses sting as bad. Is it the right way to think about it? No, but I was kind of forced into it, and it made it so. And by the way, we haven't had a show between the two games, Friday and Sunday, so it does kind of add up to. I like the response on Sunday. As much as I didn't like dropping the game on Friday, I liked the response on Sunday a ton. I like the response from Sunday as a culture win a bunch. With the added caveat that on Sunday, watching Freddie Andersen goes down, that's really all you can think of in a lot of ways. Now, Kochetkov came in. You know, I gave him his free pass, right? The first goal, your head's spinning. You weren't expecting to have to go out there. You're a little chaotic. Cool. You get one free pass. From that point on, lock in. It appears as if he did. Rod Brindamore in the postgame was asked how Kochetkov handled being thrown in that situation. This is what Rod had to say.
You can't ask for a tougher situation and then give up a dirtball goal, right? I mean, that's, but the way to bounce back. I mean, that to me, I could have just crumbled in a minute. And we know about him, right? He's got a great ability to just kind of move on and get right back to it. So, we got. I thought he played great after that. So we didn't give up a ton, which was key. But when we did, he made some couple of good saves, and that's what obviously you need.
Last I checked, we don't have any updates on Freddie Andersen, which means, again, superstitious people keep holding your breath, right? Keep knocking on every piece of wood that you pass by, throwing salt over your shoulder, whatever you want to do, because it is a difficult situation for Pyotr Kochetkov moving forward if he is out there operating with no safety net, right? Freddie Andersen, his reputation. Fragile Freddie. So I'm not saying this is anything that you shouldn't be prepared for, but it is something that the way Freddie was playing you wish didn't happen. And Pyotr Kochetkov, we know the form he's in, right? It hasn't been the best, but we also know he's capable of hot streaks.
Mm-hmm.
So will that into existence. You'll hear me say this, as long as Pyotr Kochetkov has to be in net, goal scorers score an extra, right? Blue liners block an extra, right? Do everything you can to support the guy in net who's trying to find that hot streak again. It's what you do in team sports. Right, I've been the backup quarterback thrust in due to injury. When you get in there, you're looking at your receivers like, hey, man, 50-50 balls. Really need you on this one. You're looking at your offensive line saying, hey, I'm not in rhythm. Give me an extra half second. Backup goalies get in these situations. Hey, block one more shot for me, right? Don't turn it over for me. And I know that's you're never trying to, but I need a little extra.
And Kochetkov's high-end play isn't that far off from Freddie's high-end play. If anything, they're equal. It's all about the consistency for those two guys. I mean, Kochetkov, after that softie that he gave up, very first shot he faced, he stopped the next 14. His save percentage was 93.3. You can't really ask for much better for a guy thrown in that situation.
No, and like I said, you get your free pass. I give you one there, especially when the team already had a multiple-goal lead, right? You get your free pass and then lock in, and that appears to be what he did. That appears to be what he did. And all right, the goal scorers took care of scoring goals, and everything else happened the way it should.
By the way, we have no update on Freddie. Rod Brindamore talked to the media earlier today and said, I have no update on Freddie. I'm still waiting to hear. That's all we know.
So keep the superstitions rolling, whatever you do.
Whatever you got to do.
This is almost a be careful what you wish for situation from me, too. Because, I mean, for most of the year, I was in favor of it being Pyotr Kochekhov's net in the postseason, partially because we have seen Freddie in the postseason a bit, and I kind of wanted to know what a Pyotr postseason would look like, because I do think he has a certain lack of fear as a positive, right? A certain edge as a positive. And then the way the stretch kind of played out where Freddie ramped up and Pyotr lost his form for a bit, I flipped and went, I don't know how you give the net to Pyotr. But at this point, it's be careful what you wish for. You wanted Pyotr in net. Here you go, Tim. Let's see how it goes. I'll tell you this. It's an easier job for whoever's in goal if Andrei Svechnikov plays like Andrei Svechnikov played on Sunday, right? If we've been talking about how his play at the top level unlocks a higher potential for this team. Obviously, one was an empty netter. Shout out empty netter, empty netter Svech, right? Living up to the nickname. But the 2 goals, that's huge. Here's Rod after the game on Svech, not only having a strong game, but having that translate to production and score sheet. I'm going to work on this again. Score sheet statistics. I don't even know why I would choose to say that. Here's Rod after the game talking about Svech.
Talked about this for a long time. Like, your best players have to be your best players. They have to be, at this time of year, noticeable, but they also have to actually be on the score sheet. So, whatever. I mean, he came out, obviously, he's on the score sheet, so that's huge. But, I think he had 5 or 6 shots. I mean, he was around it. And that's, if we want to be successful, you got to get those contributions.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do. Top guys got to play like top guys. It's become like a rallying cry for me about this team. Your top guys have to play like top guys.
Well, we saw in games 1 and 2 here at Lenovo, we didn't see any of those top guys actually beat Markstrom with a goal. It was Martinuk, it was Stankoven a couple times, it was Chatfield, it was Gostisbehere. But now in the last couple games, we've seen Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov multiple times. We're starting to see that top group of guys actually finding the back of the net and not just off empty netters as well. So when you have your top guy scoring complemented by secondary scoring, that's when a team can make a deep playoff run.
And you're completely right. I will say I thought particularly the second line, but both the top lines were playing well in those first 2 games. It was just one of those, keep doing what you're doing, points are going to come. And sure enough, that's exactly what's happening. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We want your Canes takes, right? Whatever you think is the key moving forward, we want to hear it. We will be opening up the phone lines for the second half of this hour. So starting about 3:30, we'll open up the phone lines for your takes on everything, but obviously Canes included in that. The other big part of the weekend, another reason why maybe you'd be bummed to be at a wedding without good cell reception, is the NFL draft took place over the weekend. Reactions to the Panthers draft. From their first pick to their last pick. Coming up next. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
I don't quite understand the reluctance to boo the New Jersey Devils with Stefan Nason and Brett Pesce on that team. They don't care about you anymore. They want to win a cup just as bad as you want the Canes to make the deep run of the playoffs too. Go ahead and boo them. There is no shame.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
Need a spot to cheer on the Canes? Join the Carolina Hurricanes crew at Carolina Ale House's Cary location for away game watch parties. They'll have giveaways, prizes, and more. Yeah, even Stormy will be there. Weather permitting, there'll be a lawn party with a giant TV next to the restaurant. Bring a folding chair and cause chaos. Carolina Ale House is an official partner of the Carolina Hurricanes. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Or visit CarolinaAleHouse.com/Canes for more info. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
With the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Tedoroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What'd you think of the Panthers draft? Well, start getting them ready. At 3:30, we'll be taking your calls. Start getting your takes and opinions and questions ready. Here's, and I am as deep a draft nerd as there are that exists. Here's my official take. I've worked on it. I've fine-tuned it for the Panthers draft. I love the plan. Don't necessarily agree with the execution, but that could be a good thing. They should be better than me at certain things involving the draft. Right? I love the positions they took. And I love the investments they made at different parts of their roster throughout the draft. And I love the archetypes. I love the types of players. I'll explain what I mean by that as we go along. I don't always agree with the player. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you took that edge, I would have taken this edge. Oh, you took that running back, I would have taken this running back. So, it's not like we're in lockstep. But also, you have a staff of people watching every single player for hours and hours and hours, and I fit in watching highlights when I can. So, if we agreed, then you're doing a lot of extra work, right? You're doing too much. For example, right at the top, right? Tedoroa McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. I've been saying from the entirety of the offseason, I think they need a number one wide receiver. Right, I was in on the T. Higgins moves. I was in on maybe a Brandon Ayuk move if it was the right price. I was in on number one wide receiver moves. I think McMillan is very much a full boom or bust wide receiver. So I'm not sure if that would be my ideal number one wide receiver to fill. But again, they might think he's near foolproof, right? That we can disagree on prospect evaluations. That's okay. I like the plan. I like getting Bryce Young a number one wide receiver. Then going second round, Nick Scourton, the edge from Texas A&M. Third round, Prince Umanmielen. All right. Got the nod from Dennis on the pronunciation. Been working on that too. The edge from Ole Miss. I love that they prioritized edge rusher with back-to-back picks in the second and third round. Love it. And these are guys who physically, you look at their measurables, there's nothing about them that doesn't say they should be able to play and contribute right away. And the Panthers are a team that need guys that can play and can contribute right away. Here's Dan Morgan. Almost. What I will say is just we had some tech difficulties there. Dan Morgan said that as much, right? Me and him agree on that. Right? These are guys that can make an impact right away. Now, if we're nitpicking, in the second round, Mike Green was still available. Now, if it was the off-the-field red flags that pushed them away from Mike Green, I'm all good on passing on him. Obviously, I don't have the background checks and all of the investigations that go into a couple of very serious off-the-field allegations.
A lot of teams passed on him.
And the Ravens ended up scooping him up later on. If that's what made them pass, cool. Like, I'm never going to argue with a team that takes that seriousness, does their research, and is uncomfortable. I would have liked Oladejo from UCLA a bit more as an athletic edge rusher, like he was a former off-ball backer that can run a bit more, so you'd think he would be a better pass rusher. Meanwhile, Scourton is more power-based, big, strong dude, which the Panthers value a ton, right? They're about I mean, if there's anything we've learned this offseason, they're about stopping the run, right? So, me saying, like, I want someone that can get after the quarterback, and they're going like, well, we want someone that can get after the quarterback and also be extremely stout against the run. That's a disagreement of taste, not a disagreement of quality. And now we do have the soundbite from Dan Morgan. Good work by Dennis there, getting it up and running. Here he is talking about the two edge rushers in the second and third round being ready to contribute.
They're two guys that, like, we think very highly of. They can get to the quarterback. They can play the run, and they can do all the things that we're going to ask them to do. So, yeah, we're just super excited and, didn't think we'd be able to get both of them. So to be able to capitalize and trade up and get these guys, we're just super excited about it.
I don't have any issues with the Uman Mielan try to that one again. Edge from Ole Miss. I just love them prioritizing edge on back-to-back picks, realizing that they didn't have a one-person hole at that part of their roster. They had a multiple athlete area that they needed to go solve.
And Nick Scorton, by the way, Mike Kay of the Charlotte Observer pointed this out. I didn't realize this. He doesn't turn 21 until late August. Late August. He's going to be playing in preseason games when he's 20 years old still.
And I don't know what this means about the player, but I think it means something about his preparation and his take serious level. He played some games, reportedly up around 280 pounds. He was at the combine doing some workouts down in under 260, which, again, I don't know if that says anything about his athletic ability, but to me that means in preparation for the combine, he and his agent and his trainers set a goal, and he was able to be prepared for it. I hate guys that show up at the combine, and we're still saying like, well, they can put on weight. I'm going like, no, they prioritize it, get it done. He did what he had to do. So I like the person of that. If I disagree with a pick, as much as I disagree with a pick, it is ironically the one that you'd think I agree with the most. ETN in the fourth. Dennis, how often have we been saying we want a running back in the fourth? It just kind of fits.
Yeah, fourth or fifth, yeah.
He would not be the guy I would go with. Lack of production. I don't think he has the top-end speed. There were other guys I like more on the board. Jaden Blue out of Texas was still on the board. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee was still on the board. If you're going to go with a guy that doesn't have great top-end speed, I think someone like Woody Marks out of USC would have been a better fit as far as complementing Chuba Hubbard. But I mean, I wanted a running back in the fourth, and they came through with the 12th pick of the fourth round with a running back. Again, agreeing with the plan, maybe not as much the execution. Lathan Ransom, safety, Ohio State, later on in the fourth, the 20th pick of the fourth round. Love the pick. And this is what I meant when I said, like, the archetype. We wanted, or at least I wanted, a safety from a big school that had played in big games, that will not have his eyes, wide as saucers if he's asked to play early, right? I think there's a good chance Ransom is your day one or early in the season. They're depending on him to play a whole bunch of snaps in that defensive backfield. Well, he came from Ohio State, where he just played in all of the biggest games you can play in, right? He played in the national championship and won it. Now, again, maybe a bit more of a physical safety when I would have preferred the center fielder of a safety to pair with Trayvon Moehrig, who's going to be able to bring the physicality in spades, their big free agency acquisition. But he's a big-time player that's played in big games. I'm not going to complain about that. Beyond that, it was, when you get to the fifth, sixth rounds, it's whatever falls to you, right? You're just looking at your board and trying to find value. Cam Jackson, the defensive tackle from Florida, don't know a ton about him, right? 5th-round picks are going to be a little bit more mysterious to the pre-draft.
Big dude,
run stopping, right? That's everything I read. And Panthers seem to prioritize stopping the run.
He's the perfect backup to Bobby Brown. They signed him free agency. Nose tackle that can just plug the middle of the line.
And if either of them are able to occupy 2 blockers, that means guys like Derek Brown, that means some of these bigger dudes on the edge that they just drafted are having the opportunity to win one-on-one. So, that's what the big dudes on, especially nose tackles, are doing, right? You're trying to take a guard and a center with you and don't move. Mitchell Evans, tight end from Notre Dame. I think he needs to be a better blocker for me to love this pick. But, Dennis, you want to hear your favorite stat?
Go on.
As soon as I saw this, I went, oh, this is Dennis's guy. Every time we talked combine, and I don't even know if you realize this, but you bring up one particular number a ton.
10-yard split?
Yes. Do you know who had the quickest 10-yard split amongst all tight ends at the combine?
Mitchell Evans.
Yeah. I went, oh, this is Dennis's guy. They gave up Ian Thomas, and they brought in Mitchell Evans. I was like, that's exactly what Dennis wanted.
Already an upgrade.
But he does lack long speed, right? For as quick as he was in the first 10, middle of the pack in the 40. So to me, you're going to end up being a, short route guy and a blocker, right? And you let Jatavian Sanders maybe do some of the more downfield seam stuff. But if he develops into a better blocker, first of all, it's a 5th-round pick. I think it was the 27th pick of the 5th round. You're not going to get somebody without something he has to work on. If he develops into a bigger and better blocker, love this pick. And then Jimmy Horn Jr., wide receiver, Colorado. Ran a 4.46. Would have loved to have seen a little bit faster because I just think that offense needs speed in bucketfuls. But I don't want to talk about Shedeur Sanders a ton today. My number one thing watching Shedeur Sanders tape was goodness his wide receivers are good.
Yeah.
And that was Travis Hunter, and that was Jimmy Horn, and that was Wester and Shepard and all of these guys. So I like the Jimmy Horn pick, and he's a good punt returner, which is always great to find value until they can work their way into contributing on the offense. So I like the draft. Don't love all the players, but I like the draft.
Give me a grade.
B+.
Okay. I said A-.
B+. With their planning, like an A+. Right? It's just, you're never. I'm nitpicky, right? I go in with very specific expectations. I'm hard to please. B+ is, I think, pretty darn good. You know what else I think is pretty darn good? Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here with Miller Lending. I'm pretty hard to please, but if you're just going to save me money in the short term and really open up my opportunities to save even more money in the long term, yeah, I think I'm gonna be a little bit easier to please once you tell me that. That's exactly what Miller Lending wants to do, right? When you're looking for a mortgage, right? The best thing to do is to, have a time machine and go back to like 2020 when rates were way down there and get a mortgage. But if you don't have that ability and you need a mortgage now, the next best thing you can do is call up Miller Lending and Gordon Miller and get a no closing cost loan. What that does is it saves you money in the short term because it's no cost, no fees out of your pocket, right? At closing, you don't have to come up with all that cash. And in the long term, it gives you the opportunity to save a bunch more money if and when rates fall in the future, whether it's a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, right? As long as it's within you owning the same mortgage. If rates drop, get another no closing cost loan, no costs, no fees, no money out of your pocket. Just a lower monthly rate. People around the office have been using Miller Lending for a very, very long time, and they all leave extremely pleased with the experience. You can as well. Just give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. Phone lines are open, everybody. Monday, sound off time, NHL playoffs, Canes takes, draft takes, transfer portal takes, whatever you want to talk about. Local teams, non-local teams, if you want to get crazy. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open. The number to call, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We try to take you in the order that you call, so if you want to get on early, call in fast. 919-860-5326. Call in now. Monday Sound Off coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express your love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun-fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protected by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
O'Reilly! Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Palat, Svechnikov who gave it away. Palat out in front, and Kochetkov with a whirling dervish of a save will get a whistle.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I am looking forward to hearing your takes on a Monday Sound Off. Heister Automotive Group hotline open, 919-860-5326. We open up the phone lines for you every Monday about this time. But first, let's open up the airwaves for 2 minutes of gold, all about the weekend for the Canes, the win last night. It's 2 minutes of gold because it's with our friend Adam Gold. Take it away.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for two players who made two big plays, one good and one bad, as the Hurricanes took Game 4 in New Jersey by a 5-2 count. And it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. And strangely enough, we're not even going to talk about the guy who had the hat trick. Andrei Svechnikov now has 2 playoff hat tricks for Carolina. The only person ever to do that. That is incredible. And Andrei was really good, so that's a positive sign. But we are going to start with Jacob Slavin, who made 2 highlight-producing plays in the same sequence. The first part is a steal from Steph Nason that in and of itself was incredible, and then, at this point, a patented Jacob Slavin goal over the shoulder, behind the head of Jacob Markstrom, back bar, that made it 2-0.
Canes got to clear it out, but Siegenthaler will find it. The play up for Nason. Nason can't get it around Slavin. What a play by Jacob Slavin. Slavin goes short side. He scores! Roll the highlight reel. What a playoff goal. Jacob Slavin puts Carolina up 2-0.
If he just completes the steal and doesn't even shoot the puck, it's a highlight play. The steal itself was that good, and then to finish it off with the goal was just incredible. This is why Slavin is, for me, as good as there is at the position in the entire league. But the other play was a bad one, because it could prove costly for Carolina. About 5 minutes into the second period, after repeatedly seeing Frederik Andersen rob him of goals, Timo Meier took matters into his own shoulder, if you will.
Now Heischer trying to find some room. He'll leave it for Palat. Aho cuts him off, and that drive is going to go wide and all the way out of the zone, and Burns is going to be able to change.
Tough hit from Meier on Freddie Andersen. Tough hit. Well within the paint. Tough hit.
You can miss me with the Andrei Svechnikov pushed Meier into Andersen. The momentum had stopped. Meier then delivered his shoulder to the chest of Andersen. It wasn't a terrible hit, but it was a hit to the goaltender that was intentional. No doubt about it. Was Meier trying to be dirty? I don't think so. Was he trying to get in Andersen's kitchen? I believe so. Does the result matter? It may in this case, since the NHL only seems to punish results, although I am not suggesting in any way that Meier will face supplemental discipline. The Hurricanes will take matters into their own hands by winning this series in 5, and I look forward to the handshake line. There is no question. By the way, the Hurricanes, if Andersen can't return in this series, or maybe is out for an extended period of time, because you just never know with what appears to be a head injury, then the Hurricanes will have some juggling to do. Pyotr Kochetkov came on, allowed a bad goal to Meier, which, by the way, was salt in the wound, but then played well the rest of the way. So maybe it's Pyotr's net for at least the balance of this series. Either way, the Hurricanes will have some decisions to make if Freddie can't continue. Visit ParkwaySleep.com and end your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for retribution against Timo Meier. Sort of kidding.
Sort of kidding? I don't know about that one. I'm not sort of kidding about anything. Scoreboard retribution, that is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Adam for that. Thank you to all of you for calling in on a Monday Sound Off. The phone lines are open. Canes takes, transfer portal takes, NFL draft takes. Did you like what the Panthers did or anything else that happened in the draft? 919-860-5326 is the number. 919-860-5326. 5326. We'll start with Tyler in Durham. Wants to sound off on Hubert Davis and UNC. Tyler, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
What's going on, man? So I'm just trying to get a take on what you think their whole plan is with losing R.J. Davis, Ian Jackson, Drake Powell, and Cadeau, and how you think they're doing with the transfers they're getting to come on in.
I think they had some must-haves that they went and took care of, right? They got the 7-footer Vasar from Arizona. They got a floor general in Kyan Evans. They got some shooting in Powell from West Virginia, and maybe some lottery ticket high-level ceiling with Jaron Stevenson from Alabama. And now they're going to big game hunt. I know that today, earlier today, it was announced that Stojakovic, Peja's son, ended up Andrei Stojakovic committed to Illinois, and UNC was one of the final runners-up. So that's a bummer. I think that would have been a crown jewel of a transfer class, but that tells me they're now searching for some higher shelf things. So I'm going to withhold judgment on their transfer class until we know they're done.
Okay, so as of right now, where do you think they stand preseason-wise in the rankings? Or do you think they're not ranked?
As a brand, they will end up in the top 25. I'd probably put them in the also receiving votes category right now. Like they're close. They have potential, but after last season, I have a hard time giving them the benefit of the doubt. Appreciate the call, though. Call back in anytime, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
And I will say this. I do think they will be ranked because they are UNC, and I think they deserve that benefit of the doubt. Certain brands, they just, you usually have a little bit of boost based on your name. Tyler in Creedmoor wants to stay on the basketball side of things. We go from Tyler that wanted to talk UNC to Tyler in a different location that wants to talk NC State. Tyler, thanks for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim, this is Tom from Creedmoor.
Oh, okay. Tom, well, then my segue doesn't make a lot of sense, but the welcome is still there for you. Welcome to the show. Talk about NC State.
Thank you. Give me the latest on NC State basketball recruiting and if we got any big men coming in for next year.
All right, I appreciate the call. I'll give you as much as I can because they are very much still not done. So call back in anytime. Like I said, I'll give you as much as I can. They're still swinging for the fences, and I do not say that in the same way that UNC is, because UNC for the most part, like they have a complete roster. If season started tomorrow, I think UNC could play and they'd be solid. NC State, I think, still has some must-haves they need to go get. They brought in some McNeese guys, which made sense. They brought a stud out of high school in Matthew Abel, which makes sense. I do think they're still pretty desperate for some size and some bigger players that they will need. But new coach, a lot of money to spend. They don't get a B, C, D, E, or F. They get a incomplete at the moment. To be determined, a T, a B, and a D for NC State recruiting on the transfer portal thus far. Let's jump to, what do we have next? Corey and Wendell, back to UNC basketball. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for all of your takes, all of your questions, all across sports. Whatever you want to talk about, we want to hear it. 919-860-5326. We'll go to Corey and Wendell. Corey, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Tim, I appreciate you having me on again. I love the show. Look, I'll switch it up. Instead of talking about UNC again, I want to talk about the Lakers and Wolves.
Okay.
The Lakers are done. They're done. It looked like a bunch of old men getting wore down in a game of 21. The defense in the last 10 minutes of that game and the ball pressure they put on Luka was something you dream about in basketball. And I just think LeBron's done. Sit him down.
Well, first of all,
as far as the front court and UNC, I think, man, we're making changes. We're good there.
All right. I love it. Thank you very much for the call. Do you know what was the stat of the day for me in that Lakers and Timberwolves game? LeBron and Luka each played 46 minutes. That's a ton. I actually think they both played pretty well, right? They scored. They did a little bit of everything, especially LeBron, efficiency-wise. But goodness gracious, 46 minutes is a lot. And if I'm Anthony Edwards, that pest he played in whatever that was, game 4, where he was just hand in the chest of LeBron all the time, making him look to the ref and go, man, come on. I'm doing that 110% of the time. Make his trek up the floor exhausting because he is older, right? That's a fact. He is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Heister Automotive Group hotline, wide open Monday sound off. So let's go to Tyler in Raleigh. Number to call, 919-860-5326. Tyler in Raleigh wants to sound off on Bill Belichick and UNC. This could go in a myriad of different ways. So we'll let Tyler drive for a second here. Tyler, go ahead and sound off on Bill Belichick.
Oh, what's going on, Tim? I just wanted to, I don't know, there's an uneasiness in there, which is good, I think, for UNC football to feel uneasy. But I don't know if you saw the CBS interview over the weekend or not. There's just something that feels a little shaky, not necessarily with UNC, but it almost feels like an issue. I don't know. It's good to be in the news, but it feels like sometimes it's for the wrong reasons. I wanted to see what you thought about that. Also, Tim, I went down to Wake County Speedway on Friday this weekend. I don't know if you've ever been, but if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. It's fun.
All right. Appreciate the recommendation and the input. Thank you for calling in. Call in anytime. I'm just gonna say it. The Bill Belichick stuff makes me uncomfortable. I don't know if it impacts football at all. Okay, I think more important they have to recruit well. I think more important they have to get the quarterback right with likely Gio Lopez or Bryce Baker. I think more important he has to scheme up an excellent defense. But yeah, I watched the CBS Sunday morning interview and their kind of behind the scenes input that his early 20s girlfriend was deciding what questions he would answer and what questions he wouldn't, and vocalizing those desires to the interviewer. It just made me feel uncomfortable. It just right, just one of those things. Can't really explain it. Obviously, he can do whatever he wants.
You mean this right here? Is this what
we
you're
have the
referring
audio?
to?
Perfect.
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Yikes.
Yeah, awkward.
Just makes it, just makes me, I don't know what it, I was trying to think of because there's not a lot of similar situations, right? I was trying to think of one. I couldn't really, maybe if like a family friend or something for a long time had been married and then, I don't know, divorce happens and really quickly they're doing something else and like changing their personalities. I don't know. It's a strange beast what's going on there. And I would get it if UNC fans are a little nervous because it just, right, when you signed up for Bill Belichick, you signed up for the football cyborg, right? The do your job, the we'll on to Cincinnati, and you're getting this version. It's just, it doesn't feel like it's what you signed up for. Isaiah in Wake Forest is up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline for a Monday sound off. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Wide open phone lines. Isaiah in Wake Forest wants to talk Panthers. Isaiah, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Okay. First, I just wanted to say I'm still kind of 50-50 on whether or not I like the Panthers draft, how they did in the draft. I'm not 100% sure.
What has you on the fence?
What?
What has you on the fence? What are you still having to come to grips with?
Well, I just really, when Mason Graham got picked, I was saying, we're going to draft Jalen Walker. We're going to get Jalen Walker. And then they drafted Ted McMillan, and I was upset. But I'm kind of feeling like they kind of need him at this point because our wide receiver room's a mess. We have many people who cannot be number ones, hoping he'll be able to turn out right.
Mm-hmm.
But we need an edge rusher so bad. I mean, anybody can catch the ball if you put it in their hands, really, but you got to have like a skilled player at edge rusher. And I'm hoping they keep Jadeveon Clowney as well because we need a veteran presence out there to mentor the new guys. Nick Sorton, who's going to be really, really good. Give him a couple seasons, he's going to be a beast.
All right.
And, yeah, that's just what I want to say.
Appreciate the call. I like being 50% or up in the air on a draft at this point is completely fair. Unless you are somebody that watches film of every college prospect, you like halfway through the season is when you decide whether you like the draft or not because you have to see the players play. Right? Jalen Walker was mentioned so often with the Panthers that you probably did watch highlights and you probably did get excited and you probably did. He's a local guy, right, from the state of North Carolina, and I doubt you did that for Princely Umamaleon. I'm going to keep trying on that. You probably didn't do that for Nick Scarton and all these other guys, right? So it's right to be up in the air. I think it's obvious that Walker probably wasn't the choice for them because he doesn't appear to be as good against the run and setting an edge in the run game, and that seems to be something that the Panthers value. I thought they might be more interested in going full get after the quarterback mode, but if they don't want to, they don't have to, right? They can get their number one wide receiver in the entire draft on their board and then get a couple of guys that might be a little better against the run in the next 2 rounds. Pat in Durham wants to talk Commanders. How about that? We're looking at the Washington squad. Pat, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Well, hadn't heard a whole lot about what people think about their draft. I know they in the second round they got a pretty good DB out of Ole Miss or something that was like a first-round projection. And they did get a linebacker, and right after that there was an edge rusher that was drafted. And I didn't know if you knew anything about the running back they got out of Arizona or something in the last, like in the 5th round.
I can break down their draft for you very quickly here, so I'll do that. But thank you for calling in.
Thanks.
Call back in anytime. Let me bring it up real quickly. Josh Connerly Jr. Is seen better through prospects like evaluators' eyes than the public's eyes because he had one really, really bad rep at the Senior Bowl.
We got run over by Mike Green?
Yeah, Mike Green ran through his face at the Senior Bowl, and everybody went, oh, that guy stinks. He's actually a really good player. And guess what? Cornerbacks give up touchdowns occasionally. Offensive linemen set their feet funny and don't have a scouting report on a guy and get run over every now and then. I think he's a good player, and I think he'll help protect Jaden Daniels, which is what your entire team is about. Trey Amos, Ole Miss cornerback, you brought him up. First-round projection in some places. I've seen early second as well, so value either way. And then they went speed. Jalen Lane out of Virginia Tech. I don't know if he's that good a wide receiver. I know he's fast. And the running back out of Arizona, Krosky Merritt, same thing. I think he was like a 4.32 guy. That is flying. So yeah, they went speed later in the draft. That's kind of and they didn't have a lot of picks. They had 4 or 5 picks. So it's hard to really revamp everything on your team when you only have 4 or 5 picks. It's tough. Let's go back to the call-in lines. We have Alex and Carey. I have 2 very, very different topics he wants to sound off on. Shedeur Sanders and the Carolina Hurricanes. I can't think of 2 more disparate topics, but that's part of a Monday sound off. You guys get to steer the ship. So Alex and Carey, sound off, whatever order you choose, Shedeur or the Canes.
All right, well, I think I'm going to start with Shedeur Sanders.
Okay.
I think that him not getting drafted till the 5th round sets a great precedent for the NFL. I think personally too long, NFL players have kind of been doing whatever you want. You look at Deshaun Watson, Henry Ruggs, don't remember his name, but you know what I mean, Tyreek Hill, you have these arrogant, terrible people, they come and set a bad example. I thought that, Shedeur, if you remember, a couple months before the draft, he had those giant cleats. He was convinced he'd be going number 1. I think that him going in the 5th round, and honestly, I think he's going to be the priority over Dylan Gabriel. If Joe Flacco or what is it,
Kenny Pickett, yep. Real quickly here, Alex, and I hear what you're saying, but I do want to draw a barrier between the guys you mentioned and Shedeur Sanders. I'm fine with saying Shedeur is brash and cocky, and he shouldn't have worn the cleats and all those other things. But Tyreek Hill, Deshaun Watson, Henry Ruggs broke laws, or at least allegedly broke laws. Make sure that allegedly word comes through. They're accused of some very serious off-the-field stuff. Shedeur Sanders, to my knowledge, has not been accused of anything along those lines. He's just been accused of making a mockery of the pre-draft process and disrespecting people with his brashness. So I do want to put a barrier between those two. But yes, I do hear what you're saying. I do hear what you are saying. Go ahead and get to your Canes take. We don't have much time here, so jump to the next one.
All right, you're absolutely right. And about the Canes, a lot of people have been eager to see Nikishin starting. I think that's, not a good idea. The guy's never even played a North American hockey game. I don't really understand why people are so eager to see him starting. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, appreciate the call. I do think there is a way you can get, if he makes your team better, you got to get him that first North American game at some point. I don't think it will happen, but I wouldn't hate to see him in Game 5, a home game. You have a 2-game lead. You can give somebody a break that maybe needs a break. I wouldn't hate that, but also now that you're switching goalies and everything, it might just be keep everything as stable as possible. I'm open to more shades of gray in the Nikishin argument than I think many are that are just put him in, or the vice versa. I don't want to see him. I'm kind of with context, we could justify both sides. But with a 2-game lead, I wouldn't hate it. Let's fly through some of these Monday sound-offs because we have people waiting on the line, and we're nearing the top of the hour. We'll go to Ryan in Creedmoor, wants to sound off on the NBA. Ryan, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off. Ryan, are you there? Ryan, hello? There you are, Ryan. I got you. Go ahead and sound off.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Go ahead and sound off. You're on the air.
Yeah, my question is, I lost a little money on FanDuel this weekend. I was looking at some of these NBA games. I saw 2 questionable calls. One with Luka and one with Hardaway Jr. Mm-hmm. What do you think they're going to do about these refs missing these open calls like that?
All right, first of all, appreciate the call. second of all, I feel your pain. I believe it was Tim Hardaway Jr. that one. The refs even admitted that they messed up, which is just brutal for gambling purposes. So I feel your losses there. The Luka one is more on the fence. I know J.J. Redick was pretty adamant that it was super obvious. He kind of stepped on the defender's foot. But, I mean, I don't see how you do away with bad calls. I just don't. I think you need to get the best refs you can, and you need to trust that they're doing their best, and you live to play another day. I don't see how, like, a tripping call can be made by a robot. It's not like balls and strikes where you can go get it absolutely correct with a robot. So because of that, you just got to kind of live with it and control what you can control. I know that's not what you want to hear after you lose money in the gambling world, though. Been there. Barry in Selma wants to sound off on NC State baseball. Barry, thank you very much for calling in. We are running out of time here, and we have 2 more callers we want to get to. So as quickly as you can, sound off on the Wolfpack baseball team.
Hey, Tim, listen every day.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Appreciate
I just wanted to say State, after beating number 2 ranked Clemson, has swept them this weekend. They've won 14 out of their last 16 and moved up to number 13 in the rankings. I think Elliot Aben's doing a good job. And go Pack.
Beautiful. I love the speed. Thank you for doing that. And, yes, they did sweep Clemson, who I think was number 1 in the country at the time. Number 2 in the country at the time. So it's a pretty serious little series there for the Wolfpack. And finally, wrap it up with a bang, Joe in Holly Springs on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You're our last Monday sound-off caller. You want to sound off on the Chiefs? The floor is yours.
After watching that Super Bowl, I wanted Brett Veach to O-line and the D-line. I'm really excited about this draft. We also got a few skills. Wide receivers out of Utah and the running back kind of really excited about the draft.
All right, you're breaking up, so I'm going to let you go, but I think I hear what you're saying, which is ooh, there he goes. After that Super Bowl, you wanted the Chiefs to go offense and defensive line, which they did with their first 3 picks, and then they went, I think, really, really fun, really, really good players later on. Maybe my favorite pick in the draft, 7th round, Brashard Smith to the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's our guy.
To the Chiefs in the 7th. I also really liked Noel Williams, the cornerback out of Cal. They got him in the 4th or late 3rd maybe. And Jalen Royals I'm not as high on, but I know a lot of people are. Utah State wide receiver. So, yeah, I mean, offense and defensive line till you felt you're good there. Josh Simmons, the guy they drafted first, if he didn't have injury problems, which are serious, I think he's a top 10 pick. Mm-hmm. And then Omar Norman Lott, we took in our mock draft.
Yeah, the defensive lineman.
The advanced analytics absolutely love that guy. He wins at a huge rate. So, I don't think it's surprising. Brett Veach, the GM, the guy that draws everything up for the Chiefs, played football at the University of Delaware. Of course he's going to be great. Let's go Blue Hens. All those Super Bowls, it's not by accident they hired a Blue Hen. I'm only half joking. Brett Veach is a monster. I don't know how much of it has to do with Delaware, but he did play football at the University of Delaware, so I'm taking all the credit for it, whether it's true or not, right? Probably would have been pretty good anyway. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is it for Monday Sound Off. Thank you to everybody that calls in. It's truly, truly one of my favorite segments of the entire week. We have football at 4 coming up next. What does the Bryce Young side of the draft look like? What are they saying to their quarterback? Stick around.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, you'll get the Giants goal!
Let's go, Canes!
The jet's off. Stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
John is in a hot tub on his vacation. He earned 20,000 points by spending $2,000 with his Navy Federal Credit Union More Rewards card. To be clear, you don't have to vacation in a hot tub to redeem this offer. But John did, because the bubbles make him happy. Right now, you can earn 20,000 points when you spend $2,000 in the first 90 days. Offer ends January 1st, 2026. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Visit NavyFederal.org for details.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express your love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Thursday, June 19th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Inter Miami and FC Porto. Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba taking on Diogo Costa and Rodrigo Mora. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Low humidity, cool temperatures, a high of 78, lots of sunshine. It's a Goldilocks afternoon. 53 tonight under mainland clear skies. Lots of sunshine in our forecast for tomorrow, but the humidity creeps up, and we'll see highs in the mid-80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 111 points to 40,224. Market update brought to you by North Carolina Amateur Sports. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Did you hear that? Did you hear it, everybody? The Panthers screaming at Bryce Young. So what's your excuse now? Offense in the first round, wide receiver in the first round, followed by a running back in the fourth. That's the Panthers understanding who is the most important player in their franchise and saying it's put up or shut up time.
And another tight end and another wide receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, and they signed Hunter Renfrow.
And then they signed Hunter Renfrow, route technician.
Yeah.
You want somebody to teach all those young wide receivers how to route up? Watch a little Renfrow tape. Watch a little Thielen tape. These guys they'll show you. And then do that faster, and it's watch out. Listen, I don't think it's a surprise. The Panthers needed edge rushers, corners, safeties. I think they could have used interior defensive linemen. They drafted one. I think they could have used off-ball linebackers. All of these things were things they could have used. And they used their most valuable draft asset on a number one wide receiver. That is a message to the quarterback. What else could you ask for? Right? There's no more. Remember after his first year, struggled darn near the entirety of the year, but there was a large contingent of the fan base and a large contingent of analysts saying, yes, but. Right? Oh, yeah, he struggled, but the wide receivers weren't good enough. The offensive line was terrible in front of him. All of this, all of that, right? So it gave him excuses. Going into this year, they spent all last offseason building up the offensive line and then proved during last season that it was really, really good. Then they spent their best draft asset this year on a wide receiver, and they paid their running back from last year, and they drafted a tight end in addition to drafting a tight end at the top of the 4th round in last year's draft, and they have an offensive play caller and a head coach, and all of this was done for Bryce.
And their top draft asset last year was also a wide receiver.
And Xavier Legette was exactly.
Yeah.
And I just want to keep saying and because it was fun. This is very much a put up or shut up season for Bryce Young, and I don't know if there's anything that signifies that more than Teteroa McMillan going to Carolina. And there was some at the expense of, right? To me, it made them say they are comfortable hitting doubles on defense if it means they hit a home run to help Bryce on offense. Right? The edge rushers that they got in the 2nd and 3rd round, love that they did it, would have been more dynamic if they made that pick in the 1st. Would have been more, what was it? Mykel Williams went to the Niners pretty darn high, and the Niners have a pretty good track record of judging defensive front players, right? Linebackers and defensive linemen. Jalen Walker, we all studied it. We know how much we liked him. They passed on that to give Bryce Young a elite playmaker. Look around the league. You're starting to see more teams do this. They're young quarterbacks. There's no more context. It's you better be good right away. If you're not, we will flood the roster with things to make you better. And if you're still not good, no explanations, no excuses will work. Caleb, would you see what the Bears did for Caleb Williams? Colston Loveland in the 1st. He was my tight end number 1 on the board. In the 2nd round, they went Luther Burden, wide receiver. And then in the 3rd round, they took an offensive tackle, Trapillo. Actually, an ACC guy.
Yeah, Boston College.
Did you see what the Patriots did for Drake May?
Oh, by the way, also all the offensive linemen they traded for the Chicago Bears.
And Roma Dunze last year,
yep.
and paying DJ Moore and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought in an offensive-minded head coach who's going to be his play caller. Drake May, they went offensive tackle in the 1st, Will Campbell, who doesn't appear to be joking when he says he is willing to die for Drake May.
Yeah.
Like he has that crazy, that offensive line crazy thing.
I will die for them.
Figure of speech, right? He's like, no. I will lay down my life for Drake May. Travion Henderson in the 2nd, one of the all-time check-down draft picks for a quarterback. And then Kyle Williams, one of my favorite wide receivers in the 3rd. Should we keep going? C.J. Stroud, Texans didn't have a 1st rounder. 2nd round, top of the 2nd round, Jaden Higgins, wide receiver.
Big guy.
2nd round, later in the 2nd round, Ariante Ursary, a offensive tackle. 3rd round, Jalen Noll, another wide receiver out of the same school their other wide receiver was. Both Iowa State guys go to Houston in the 2nd and 3rd round.
Fast guy, too.
You have to look at these young quarterbacks and say, no excuse now. You're going to get there eventually. The Jaguars are getting there now with Trevor Lawrence. The Packers are getting there now with Jordan Love. Do you know what the issue is? They're already committed to paying those guys $50+ million a year, right? Trevor Lawrence is getting Travis Hunter. He's getting Bayshul Tootin, the obviously stud wide receiver. I think will play a lot of wide receiver for them, and an elite speed pass-catching running back. Jordan Love, I don't know how many good wide receivers you need for the Packers, but they took Matthew Golden in the 1st. They took Savion Williams later on day 2, in addition to Romeo Doubs and Watson and Reed and all these guys they already had. The key is to find out whether your guy is the guy before you give him $50 million. Jacksonville and the Packers did it in reverse order. So the Panthers, like the Bears and the Patriots, are trying to do so on that rookie contract, where you can spend a little bit more, you can play some highly drafted players there, and still have the money in free agency to shore up other holes. If I'm Bryce Young, it's a big gift and curse moment right now. Because how excited are you, right? I know Teteroa McMillan is being called like another Cali guy. He's a Hawaii guy. Grew up in Waimanalo until he was 12, but did play his high school in California. So he and Bryce are going to have that shorthand of being from the same area. So you're excited. He's 6'4". He's jump ball wizard, contested catch guy, long strider. You're excited to play with him. But also you have to recognize this year, pressure-filled. This year, if the offense doesn't improve in a big way, particularly the passing offense, there's nowhere else to go. It's not like next year they can go, well, we'll get you a first-round wide receiver. It's like we did that each of the last 2 years. Well, we'll spend big on offensive line. They did that already. By the way, they also picked up Ike Ekwonu's fifth-year option, which they announced after the draft. So the offensive line is locked in moving forward pretty much outside of Taylor Moton at right tackle. If you have 3 of your 5 locked in, that's a great sign. Let's hear what T-Mac had to say. Teteroa McMillan talked about Bryce Young, right? So the highly drafted wide receiver, talking about the quarterback that's going to be feeding him the ball. Here's what T-Mac had to say.
He's literally been the best player at every level. You know, in 8th grade, he was the best player in the country at 14 years old. Finished his senior season as the number 1 player in the country. Went to college, won the Heisman. You look at the dude's resume, you know, he's pretty ridiculous. And, you know, I have no doubt in my mind that, you know, he will one day be the face of this league.
Here's what it all comes down to. And here's why I think the Panthers operated the way they did, in addition to just, you know, finally having final confirmation whether Bryce is good or not. No matter how good your defense is, if you don't have a quarterback that's confident and has a plan on third down, it's all for naught. Right? You can keep games close with an elite defense, and I think that's what they're planning on doing, right, because of their hard-nosed, run-the-ball, play defense kind of ethos. But in a close game, you're going to need that drive, right? You're going to need that play. You're going to have to get in field goal range. You're going to have to drive for a touchdown. You're going to have to do the thing, right? The quarterback poise, moxie thing. Third down and long, Teteroa McMillan's a really good option, right? He's big. He can make the catch even when covered. That's what I think this draft pick is about. Now you mix in some of the Bryce Young moxie that they liked this past year, right? The drive against the Eagles, the drive against the Chiefs, some of the overtime stuff he's shown in the past 2 years. You mix that in with an elite talent on the edge, you get what hopefully is a bunch of wins. And I can tell you right now, based on my interaction with Panthers fans, Dennis, I'm sure you're getting the same. Panthers fans are ready for postseason. Right, they've put up with some really, really bad teams. They've also, I would say, been pretty patient with this regime. Right, they understood last year was not going to be it. They understood there was a lot of mistakes made in the past that they kind of had to take their medicine for. This year, if you're not playing meaningful football the last week of the season, right? If you're not in the mix for at least a wild card, the patience starts to run thin.
Yeah, there's no reason why they should not have a winning record. Now, 9-8's a winning record.
True.
And that's a 4-game improvement over last year, which was a 3-game improvement over the year before.
And there's some, I mean, you know, the division is what it is, right? A couple teams might surprise, but it's not going to be a murderer's row. Like, it's time to go win some games. Last year there was a lot of celebrating games that were close. Eagles, Chiefs, right? Those games were like, hey, took a team that's you know, a Super Bowl contender down to the wire, and if so-and-so would have caught it, or if so-and-so didn't slip, whatever it is, like that would have been a win. It's like, yeah, that was fun last year. This year, there's no if so-and-so didn't blah, blah, blah. This year, it's like, all right, if you don't win, we're going to be disappointed. And I think that's a really big step. If you get good Teteroa McMillan, if he can separate at the next level, got your guy for the next 12 years. If you don't, you might be a little hard up on offense because you can't keep drafting wide receivers. You're going to have to spend those first-round picks on something else at some point. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a cup check-in coming up with Adam Gold, a ladder challenge, and winners and losers. Who do you think won and lost the last week? Make it more in-depth or more creative than just this team scored more than the other. Who won and who lost the last week? You can send them to us on our YouTube live stream comments, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it on YouTube. The live stream's right there, easy to find. In those comments, you can send them in, or you can send them to Twitter, at Donnelly Sports, DONNELLY SPORTS. If you send them there, I'll track it as well. All of that's coming up next. Stick around right here on The Drive.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
A record in sports that would be a big deal if it was broken and we'd all be in on it is 100 points in a game in the NBA.
Oh, yeah, big time.
If I told you within the next 20 years in the NBA, somebody would score 101 points in one game.
I could see it. Couldn't you see a team just waving the white flag and another team taking advantage of that?
unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Walmart Supercenters and Walmart Neighborhood Markets.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits. Live at Lenovo Center, Raleigh, November 5th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets Friday, May 2nd at 10 a.m. at livenation.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Aho's pass bounces, but Blake does a good job to get it to Gossesbear. Now Aho across the ring for Jarvis, looking for a tip to score! And Andrei Svechnikov has gone to beast mode, his second goal of the game.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. That was the second goal for Andrei Svechnikov. Empty net Svech also got a third. Just the second playoff Hattie in Canes Whalers history. Second also for Andrei Svechnikov. That's a flex. That's a good, like, you set up, knock him down, right? Do you know there's only two after Andrei Svechnikov's first after his hat trick over the weekend? There's only two in playoff history.
Technically, Corey Lavalette, North State Journal, mentioned this. So the first time it happened was that play-in series in the bubble in 2020.
So does that not count?
So it is not officially a playoff series, but we can officially say it is a postseason series. So second postseason hat trick for the Canes, but technically the first playoff.
Either way, 100% of the hat tricks in the playoffs and or postseason have been Andrei Svechnikov hat tricks.
Bingo. That is a fact.
We just need to word it differently.
Yes.
By the way, everybody out there, if you want to win, we have a chance for you to enter to win a pair of tickets to see NCFC take on Charlotte FC at Wake Med Soccer Park on May 6th. A pair of tickets is up for grabs. In order to enter, you have to text in BALL. BALL, just that word. It is the key word. Text BALL to 919-860-5326. Text BALL to 919-860-5326. If you do that, you'll be entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to NCFC as they take on Charlotte FC at Wake Med Soccer Park on May 6th. Should be a good time. Right now, also, speaking of a good time, we have the Cup Check-In with Adam Gold presented by Carolina Ale House. I know Carolina is on their way home for tomorrow's game, but as always, right, when the postseason's going on, you can go to Carolina Ale House and carry for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs. Home on Tuesday, though. Don't think I'm telling you there's any away games in the near future. But Adam Gold, as part of the Cup Check-In, did check in with Sean Hill, longtime NHL defenseman, former Kane. Here's what that had to sound like.
When was the last time you executed a play like Jacob Slavin did on the second goal of the game?
I mean, probably, I don't know, a month and a half ago. In my dreams, in my day, I would have never even thought to shoot the puck from there, and but it happens nowadays once in a while. But I mean, what an amazing play at the start of it when he knocks the puck out of the air from like 3 feet from the guy, 2 feet from the guy. It's one thing when it's going cross ice and you knock it out of the air. That's still difficult, but he does it, a foot and a half, 2 feet from off the guy's stick, which is crazy. And then has the patience to just take it in and all the way to basically the goal line, and then rips it between his ear and the post. I mean, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. We know he doesn't get it for his defense. I mean, for me, he's the best shutdown guy in the league.
Yeah.
And I know I'm biased, but even with all my favoritism towards him, I think you take that out and he's still the best in the league. But he makes some offensive plays that, I mean, he's definitely not just a shutdown defenseman. He's an amazing player.
Yeah, I think if he hunted more offense, I think he would score more, but he's not interested in that. He'd rather keep you off the scoreboard than him get on it. But we've seen in the past where when he does have the opportunity, he's good. He's a legitimately good offensive performer. I thought that play was a highlight, even if he just feathers the puck in behind the net and goes off for a change. It's a highlight because it keeps the puck in, and the Devils had been in their own end for about 2 minutes at that point, and everybody's gassed, and then you keep them on the ice even longer. It's just a ridiculous play. After Sean Hill is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. After the way the game was played out and ultimately ended on Friday night, what did you see from the blue line, especially the two veteran guys in Burns and Orloff, that enabled them to be so good defensively throughout the game?
I think it's, keeping it simple obviously is easy to say, but I think sometimes we get a little bit carried away trying to make plays that aren't there, forcing things, especially this time of year. There's a lot of times this time of year where just getting the puck out of your zone, in a situation like the Devils were in when they didn't get out of the zone when Jacob held it in. I mean, you reverse that, and sometimes it's a big play to get the puck out of the zone or to get the puck to the red line and get it in so you can change instead of being stuck in your zone for 80 seconds or, a minute and a half or whatever it is. I think sometimes people don't realize how big a little battle can end up being, especially in the playoffs. It's so low scoring a lot of the times that a simple play of getting the puck in or out at the line or getting it, chipped past the guy can be the difference in the game when it's as tight as it is.
Once again, that was the Cup Check-In with Adam Gold, presented by Carolina Ale House, the voice you heard. Joining Adam earlier today was Sean Hill, longtime NHL defenseman, and of course, former Kane, singing his praises for Jacob Slavin, which, I mean, if you're a defenseman, I don't know how you don't sing praises for Jacob Slavin, right? If we notice, I'm sure he notices, right? It's when the best defensive defenseman in the NHL is scoring goals like he scored on Sunday. What else are you going to say? He would never, but I think he should have gone full Oh gosh, what's Russell Crowe? Are you not entertained?
Go full Gladiator with that?
That's exactly what he should have done. The first Gladiator, not the second. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thanks to Adam and Sean once again. Let's jump to a little ladder challenge. Dennis, I can promise you this.
What's that?
You're probably in first.
Did you lose your pick?
I went Jalen Walker to be drafted in the top 10.
Whoops.
I fell for actually, by the way, I want to give Dan Morgan and Dave Canales credit. I said they needed to learn how to be secretive with their pick because it felt like they tipped off Xavier Legette a ton last year, and they did. And it felt like they were tipping off Jalen Walker a ton this year. It was a bait and switch. I love it.
Swerved us all.
I love it. So I am wrong, but I am happy to be wrong because it means the Panthers learned a lesson and are basically trickier than I gave them credit for. So, hey, credit to you guys. I was wrong. Jalen Walker did not go in the top 10. He went mid-first to Atlanta, which I think is a good landing spot for him. Not great for the Panthers because now you got to face him twice a year. But obviously that lost all my money. So I'm back down to 10 with just a couple days left. I'm just hoping for Dennis to mess up. Dennis, what do you got?
So we didn't do anything on Friday, obviously, because you were not here. But
and you had a few other things to talk about.
That's just like one or two. So last time I had the Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators back, I think it was game 3 for them. I had over 3.5 goals. Hit that at minus 630, so I'm up to 1935 right now. So tonight I have the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars in action. Combined over 3.5 goals between those two. My 1935 will turn into $21.84.
All right. I'm a little downtrodden after the Jalen Walker deal, but I'm back on the horse today. Tonight I'm going Steph Curry, 30 or more points plus rebounds plus assists versus the Rockets. It's minus 650. Turn my $10 into $11.53. It is a closeout game, which I always like getting the stars in closeout games, right? Warriors lead 3-zippy. Warriors are also the older team, little banged up, little injured, which means they want to end this series as early as they can, get as much rest as they possibly can. So Curry knows that. He's been through this a time or two. He's been playing absolute lights-out basketball, and I expect him to show up and do so again. Ready? I'm going to say my notorious deal here. I think he could score 30 just points. So 30 points plus rebounds plus assists. I feel very confident. Give me $10 to turn into $11.53. Steph Curry tonight in the postseason. There you go. Shall we fire up winners and losers? Let's do it. That's the ladder challenge.
This team will never lose again.
That's how it is, right? Winners and losers. Who do you think won and who do you think lost the last week? Try to be more creative than this team won because they scored more points than the other. We're talking about vibes. We're talking about trash talk. We're talking about, right, who won bragging rights and everything else. Who won and who lost over the last week. I'll get it started. I do have to go with something that was teased beautifully by Adam Gold and Sean Hill during the Cup check-in. Jacob Slavin's a winner for me. That play, pickpocketing, first of all, it's Nason, which it's always a little bit more fun when it's your boy, right?
Yeah, former teammate.
Yeah, somebody that oh, you think you know all my tricks? Well, I know all your tricks. Watch this. But also, I don't want to say he gets tired of it, but when we all call him so often the best defensive defenseman in the NHL, like that's become the just call it like stock thing when you're talking about Jacob Slavin. Part of him probably does go, have you guys seen some of the goals I score, particularly from that left side with almost no angle? I'm pretty good at it. So to do it in the postseason and add to some of his, records and things in postseason production, I just think that's a really good, trash talk move from Jacob Slavin, which maybe it's because he's not a huge trash talker, but that's a good, oh yeah? How about this for the best defensive defenseman in the NHL? As far as loser, Mel Kiper Jr.
Dude, I did not listen to one word of him during the broadcast of the draft, and it made my draft experience so much better.
You can't, if you're going to paint yourself as the expert, you can't have your number one pick fall to the 5th round.
I'm still waiting for him to retire after the whole Jimmy Clausen thing.
This was worse.
Still waiting for it.
He's had some real clunkers. This was worse than anything he's had. when you start yelling at the NFL that they don't know anything about evaluating quarterbacks, I mean, I get evaluating quarterbacks is hard, but to not acknowledge that you also have clunkers, it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
I think for him, I think his ego is bruised.
Yeah. I think he didn't have the humility to say my ego is bruised. Let me look at my own process and how I got here. Instead, he doubled and tripled and quadrupled down when it's like, this is getting hard to watch.
I did see the clips online. I love how like Reese Davis of ESPN even called him out. It's like, Mel, yelling at the league is not the issue here. That's not going to solve anything.
It was just a rough look for old Mel Kiper Jr., which I guess makes winners like, Matt Miller, Todd McShay, Dane Brugler.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah, all of them. Jordan Reed, Daniel Jeremiah, the whole squad. Do you have some winners and losers you want to throw in here?
I do. How about Pyotr Kochetkov?
Yeah. Actually, that's a really good one.
It's getting thrown in after a rough stretch to end the season. Gets thrown in the middle of a heated 3-1 game.
Yep.
Gives up a goal. Early, like, very first shot, very first face-off. He's like, oh, wait, I'm in the middle of this game now? Puck's all of a sudden is right behind him. Bounce right back, made the 14 straight saves to close things out. I thought he was great. Again, after that early soft one, he was great.
And goalie is notoriously one of those positions that is played not just in the crease, but in the 6 inches between your ears. And to get rattled that quickly and settle down is pretty good. I wonder if I used to say this about playing football. I had to get hit once, right? I'd carry out a fake and just go like throw myself into an edge rusher or something. I got to feel contact one time. I wonder if that goal didn't like shake him into calm, right? He hadn't been out there in a long time. He hadn't played a hockey game in much longer than hockey players are used to going.
It was funny you say that because Trip Tracy said during the broadcast, he's like, I think that early goal actually settled him down.
Yeah,
I was like, huh? Yeah, kind of just like, you know what? I got it out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
All right, there it is. Let's go play.
I'm not bleeding, which is, sometimes good to remember. Winner, Hunter Renfrow. I think there are targets for him to earn in Carolina. Hunter Renfrow took a year off from playing in the NFL and signed with the Panthers after the draft. I don't know if there's a lot of teams that would give him a legit shot. I think there are targets to earn in Carolina, particularly at his specific skill set, which is like slot, crossing routes, whip routes, option routes. I think there's some targets to earn there, and I think it's a good spot for him. So Hunter Renfrow, winner. Loser, Andrei Stojakovic. Now, this is with the caveat that I say college athletes do what you think is best for you. I think he kind of botched it by not going to UNC. I think UNC raises your brand. I think it raises your pro visibility. I think he would have been featured. And I'm not sure all that happens at Illinois the same way. I think he would have had a lot of targets. I think the team for UNC is kind of built with an Andrei Stojakovic like puzzle piece shaped opening for him to fill and complete the rest of that roster. Would have had shooters around him. Would have had big guys to handle rim protection. Would have had a setup guy that can also provide spacing. I think there was a lot to like about that spot. He ended up committing to Illinois. Cal transfer. Reportedly, the final three were Stanford, UNC, and Illinois, and he started his career at Stanford.
That threw me for a loop. Was like, wait a second, you're going to go back? Back across the other side of the bay?
Which kind of made me think it was UNC and Illinois. And to go Illinois, I don't know. I think it was a perfect situation for him at UNC.
He maybe looked at Illinois and said, I'm going to get more shots here.
Maybe, and it might have been an NIL thing.
Who knows?
I just think for him eventually following in his dad's footsteps and going on to try to be a NBA contributor, I think UNC was the move. All right, I have a loser that is not fun to say. Freddie Andersen's reputation. Fragile Freddie strikes again. Right? Another postseason, and we don't know if he's going to be missing time, but we don't know. We know it's part of the story now. And it seems like every postseason it's part of the story. Every season it's part of the story. And I think there's a ton of a ton of injury-prone athletes out there where it really isn't that fair, right? It's a lot of like freak stuff. So I'm not saying it's 100% fair, but goodness gracious, man. It felt like this year he was leveling up in a way that we haven't really seen him do in the postseason. He was playing a lot better than we've seen him. And to go down, first of all, you can blame Timo Meier, right? You can blame Timo Meier. I think it was a penalty, right? Wasn't called one, but I think it was.
Should have been. 2-minute penalty.
But at the same time, the hit wasn't that, like, it wasn't a gigantic, I don't know. Just his reputation is going to be that until he has like an entire season or entire postseason where it never becomes part of the story. And it's another one that's going to be part of the story. You have something you'd like to add?
Actually, some of our folks on YouTube actually have some winners and losers going on over here. Micah said winner, Svechnikov and Dan Morgan. Lost, Stefan Nason, Dougie Hamilton, and Jacob Markstrom. Micah also pointed out how Dougie Hamilton, straight liability. It was also, Will added in there, Will Parks added -3 yesterday. Hate to see it.
I mean, it does feel like every single time anything happens, almost good or bad, it feels like there's a former Cane somewhere around it for the Devils. They just love their former Canes. Which, trash talk thing stings a little bit more when you know everyone in the other locker room. I guarantee it stings a little bit more. Thank you to those guys for contributing. Let's see where we go here. Speaking of former Canes, okay. I don't even know if this counts. Loser Mikko Rantanen?
Ha! Yeah.
I mean, he's a former Cane technically.
He is a former Cane.
He was a Cane. 0 goals and 1 assist in 4 games this postseason for Dallas. He has a -4, I believe, when on the ice. And if I'm a friend of Mikko Rantanen, do you know what I am making sure he does not do?
What's that?
Search his name anywhere. Because it's 3 fan bases now that are jumping on him. He's on the ice for a shorthanded goal as part of the power play, and everybody's jumping on him. It's all his fault, whether it is or not. And I'm talking about the Canes fan base jumping on him. The Avs are obviously jumping on him in that game. And it's starting to be some Stars fans are the shine is wearing off their new toy. And you're starting to see some, I would have rather had Stankoven. There's
imagine that.
There's some Mikko Rantanen real difficult stuff being dished out by fan bases all over the place.
You know what? Now that we're on that topic, who was the big trade piece for the Carolina Hurricanes to get Mikko Rantanen?
Necas.
You know what Necas has? 1 assist.
Really?
That's it.
I've been so focused on Rantanen
games.
not playing well in that series. I missed it. Maybe it's because I actually kind of like Necas.
Yeah, those two have a combined 2 assists in the games they've played in that series so far.
And let's remember what Stankoven did in the very first game.
Exactly. You actually know has more goals than those guys combined this postseason? Jack Drury. Jack Drury has a goal and an assist this postseason.
That's your guy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that's your guy.
So you know what? Less is more. Less is more.
Or more is more.
Or more is more. I don't know.
More production for the guys the Canes got is more production than the guys they traded for away and then away again.
Exactly.
But yeah, Mikko Rantanen. You know what? Good thing he got paid when he did.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing he got paid when he did. Let's go back to winners and losers. Winner, Patrick Gungba of Duke, right? Khaman Maluach announced he's going pro. Duke hasn't added a true big to compete with Gungba. He's going to be playing massive minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Gungba is. Like Malik Brown can, 6'9", can do some stuff down low. The taller Boozer, I believe that's Cam Boozer, can do some stuff down low. But, they're not rim protectors, and you definitely don't want Boozer getting any unnecessary fouls, mixing it up with the big guys. So if Gungba can protect the rim without fouling, which is a big question mark with him, and I think part of that comes with conditioning. He was hurt coming into last year, so he didn't really get to be an elite cardio. If he can do that, there's a boatload of minutes coming Gungba's way for a team that is, I think, shaping up to be pretty good, right? Nobody really left, and their chemistry should at least be better from the jump. So I think he's a winner in all of this. Loser, players that passed on giant NIL deals and then got drafted either very late or not at all. One of the things missed in the whole Shedeur Sanders thing is he could have cashed in an NIL.
Oh, stayed at Colorado, yeah.
Or gone somewhere else. I actually think the move for him would have been go play 1 year away from his dad and cash like a $4 or $5 million check. Like, don't do it out of the goodness of your heart and show that you can play away from Dion. Maybe that changes everything. Quinn Ewers,
7th round pick.
There are reports that he passed up $8 million in NIL. Now, those might be rumors. I guarantee you it was at least 4. He's going to make that probably over a 4 or 5 year deal that he signs as a rookie. Ollie Gordon, the running back from Oklahoma State, same deal. Isaiah Bond went undrafted. Now, there's some off-the-field concerns there, but if you have eligibility left and you are like an elite all-conference type talent, you have to really make sure you're going to be like a top 2-day pick, top, day 1 or day 2 pick, because you're just leaving money on the table now if you're a 6th or 7th or undrafted pickup by a team. That's like real money you just left on the table. So much so that that Quinn Ewers was literally asked by reporters if he was going to try to use the court system to challenge to go back to college.
Yeah, go back to college.
And he had to say no. Like, I was drafted in the NFL. I'm a Dolphin or whatever he is. That is wild. I got one more. Do you have any more?
No, I'm good.
All right. I'm just throwing Giannis Antetokounmpo up there.
Oh, yeah?
Dame Lillard, Achilles injury.
Yeah.
Which gives context to if the Bucks don't win like a title in the next 2 or 3 years. Well, we traded away everything for Dame Lillard, and then he popped his Achilles in the postseason, which is usually more than a year recovery, so he'll be gone next year. And then when he comes back, he'll be darn near 40. But history never gives that context for star players.
No, they don't.
Did you win or did you not? He's like, I won 1. Why didn't you win more? No excuse. So it's a really tough spot when your running mate ends up getting a serious injury that affects multiple, if not 3 or 4 years consecutively.
So and then 1 year we were both hurt, and then they fired our head coach, even though we were both hurt, and then they traded. Yeah,
just you don't get context for that.
Nope.
It is quite like, hey, LeBron, you won a championship even while Chris Bosh was hurt for most of the playoff run. Nobody gives them that. It's you were on a super team. Yeah, that's the only reason you won. Context, injuries, it doesn't matter. You just got to win. Giannis probably won't because of the Dame Lillard deal, so I made him a loser. There you go, winners and losers. Thank you to everybody that participated. Send them in. Always appreciate hearing from you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to dive further into the Freddie Andersen of it all, the goalie situation for the Canes. But before we do any, here's Dennis Cox with some words of information for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for Loan Pronto. Folks, are your monthly bills keeping you up at night? Maybe you're worried about your finances in these crazy times. If you're like most people, you have racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, and the monthly payments simply are not making a dent in it. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief. Call now, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. LoanPronto.com. Again, the website and the phone number, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, looks towards the goalies. What happens if Freddie Andersen can come back? What happens if he can't? What happens? It's like a whole Dr. Seuss thing with a whole bunch of questions, a whole book about it. We'll talk goalies coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
And I get asked all the time, what's the key for Carolina to go far in the playoffs? There are 2 keys. One is obvious. Got to get decent goaltending. Either Frederik Andersen or Pyotr Kochetkov need to be at least good. But if you want to go far in the playoffs, Andrei Svechnikov has to be something resembling the player that got a $7.75 million contract.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. TNCs apply.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
And that drive is going to go wide and all the way out of the zone, and Burns is going to be able to change.
Tough hit from Meyer on Freddie Andersen. Tough hit. Well within the paint. Tough hit.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's what it sounded like. Timo Meyer makes contact with Freddie Andersen. Freddie Andersen leaves the game. As just to double check, the last I checked, Dennis, we had no update on Freddie Andersen. Still nothing, correct?
No, Rob Brittamore earlier today during press availability said he had not heard the update about Freddie. He was still getting checked out around noon, 12:30 today. So we just simply don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. They will skate, have a morning skate at 10:30 tomorrow morning. Something to keep in mind. If they do bring up, because Chicago's done with their season in the playoffs, if they do bring up Spencer Martin, that might be telling.
Mm-hmm. I think for sure it would be telling.
But they might go ahead and make that move anyway that Chicago's done, but this might necessitate that.
I'm not saying this is what happened, but if I'm Rod Brindamore, I'm saying you guys have an update? Cool. Tell me as soon as I walk away from the media. So I am not lying when I say I don't know yet.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah, I want to be 100% truthful with them when I say I don't know, I haven't heard the update yet, and I want the update as soon as I walk away from where they are standing. But that's what I would do, not saying that's what Rod did at all. Let's first hash out the hit. Was it a penalty? I believe it was.
Yes.
And it was so much of a, like, by the way, I think 2 minutes, like nothing crazy. But Paul Bissonnette even said it should have been a penalty. And he's not always seeing eye to eye with Canes fans. Matter of fact, we have that audio here, so let's go ahead and hear from Biz Nasty.
I think the fact that it wasn't a 2-minute minor is an absolute joke. They're going to argue Svechnikov was the reason that he collided into him. The amount of velocity that Meyer was going to the blue paint with, if anything, it prevented him and slowed him down and then turned his blade into a stopping motion. We're not talking about meeting Andersen at the top of the crease either. We're talking about being 4 feet inside the crease and making contact. By no means is this malicious by Timo Meyer, but the fact that they didn't call this a 2-minute minor is a joke. And I think that Carolina gets hosed, and Rob Brindamore has a reason to be frustrated. But credit to Timo Meyer, the same guy who bumped into him. As soon as he gets that opportunity with the puck on the wall, he just throws it on net, and it ends up going in. So they're taking advantage of the situation, but I think it's a joke.
I actually agree with most of what Bissonnette said there. And I don't say that often, so let's take a minute to acknowledge. I don't think it was like overly malicious. I think it's a hit that shouldn't have happened, and it did. I also don't think it's a hit that you watch and kind of, especially on rewatch, and go, that should definitely end. Like, it's not like an obvious, like, you know, truck accident where you're like, somebody's definitely getting hurt there. I think some, you know, the hit's a little bit off this way or that way. Maybe Freddie doesn't have the injury that he's dealing with. So here's my like official take. Deal with the anger later. There is a bigger task at hand right now. Right, I was immediately watching the game and tweeting about Pyotr Kochetkov and how this is an opportunity for him and how the team has to rally around him. And quite a few of the responses were, "Oh, that's a ridiculous referee's." And I'm going like, it might have been a ridiculous referee's decision. It probably should have been a penalty. Right, Freddie, we'll address that, but for right now, you gotta turn the page. You gotta control what you can control. You gotta be about finishing out the series and getting ready for the second round.
Yeah, whether they called the 5-minute major, whether they kept it or not, or they called the 2-minute, it doesn't change the fact that you still don't know what your goaltending situation looks like going forward. You just don't.
Deal with the anger later, try to compartmentalize, and get ready to close out the series on Tuesday with whoever's going to end up being in net. And this is kind of what I consider like a rally around him situation. Rally around your guy if he's being put into a tough deal. And make no mistake about it, if Freddie can't go forward, and we don't know, but if Pyotr plays at home tomorrow, that is a situation where I think our expectations for Pyotr Kochetkov should be high, right? You know what you're getting into. You had time to wrap your head around it. You've prepared, been in the starter's crease, all those things. That game that he had to play once Freddie went down on Sunday, that's one where you're looking at him going, give us the best you can. And we're going to try to rally around you because this is a really tough situation. And Rod said as much. After the game, Rod talked about how Kochetkov handled being thrown into a game unexpectedly.
You can't ask for a tougher situation and then give up a dirtball goal, right? I mean, that's, you know, but the way to bounce back. I mean, that to me, that could have just crumbled in a minute. And we know that about him, right? He's got a great ability to just kind of move on and get right back to it. So, you know, I thought he played great after that. So we didn't give up a ton, which was key. But when we did, he made some couple of good saves, and that's what obviously you need.
Couple of good saves. I thought some were pretty darn good saves. I think that's could be the spark you need. And sometimes that's exactly what you need to get off of a slump, is not time to think about it, right? Just go in and play. I've used this example in the past, and it's not apples for apples, but I do think it's valuable. The first time I ever did play-by-play, I was there as like the color commentator kind of backup guy, just, hey, I can fill time if you need to. And the actual play-by-play guy, you know, hey, we're coming back in 15 seconds, looked at me, said, oh my gosh, I got to use the bathroom. Stood up and left and said, you cover me. And then for the next whatever segment, I did play-by-play. And then at the end, I turned around and he was standing behind me. He never left the booth. He just did it so I wouldn't have time to get nervous, right? And sometimes that's the thing you need to shake yourself out of a slump, right? If Pyotr Kochetkov was given the net for a game, you know, maybe he is thinking like, oh, man, you know, I didn't end the season on the best path. And, oh, you know, but when you just see Freddie laying there in the net and you're watching the replay to see what happened, see how bad it is, and somebody goes, grab a helmet, there's less time for you to be inside your own head. I think that's good for Pyotr. Ended up saving, 14 straight to end the game. If he can ride that wave into the next game, if he has to play, I think that's huge. And then everybody else, I said it earlier, if you're a goal scorer, score an extra. Right? A 2-goal lead? No, keep it aggressive. If you're a defender, block an extra, right? Pickpocket an extra. Do one more for your guy as Kochetkov tries to build his confidence and get on a hot streak. We know Pyotr Kochetkov has hot streak ability, right? And the history of hockey is filled with goalies that just caught a hot streak at the right time and their teams benefited from it in the postseason. We know he has the streakiness to him. If you can somehow will that into existence, make his job easier and right, start it slow and then ramp it up, that's huge. That's massive. And also, you know, Everyone else can kind of do the same. Like, do you think Andrei Svechnikov's confidence is cruising right now? Guy just had a hat trick. Guy's been playing well really the entire series. Right? He's been buzzing. Ride that confidence. You think Slavin's confidence is high? How about Burns, right? I'm not saying Burns is ever a guy that questions himself. He's been in the league way too darn long and knows how good he can be too darn well. But, I mean, there's been some negative buzz around Brent Burns. He played well yesterday. Right? Get everybody kind of, the momentum, wind in your sails, cruising, and then tell Pyotr Kochetkov if he has to play, jump on. We've already got it moving. Rod Brindamore talked about having a strong start and then building off of it, which was obviously clutch in that Sunday win. Here's Rod.
That's the key of the game. When you get ahead of it, it's a lot easier to play your game when you're ahead. So, I thought, really I thought we were good all game. We had, they had their little push when they got that second goal there, I thought, but overall, I thought we were just solid. But the key is getting out of that 2-0 lead and then actually making it 3. That's it's hard to come back from in this league.
And in a weird way, that's what Game 4 was about, right? Gut punching, emotional, obviously physically exhausting loss in Game 3, and Game 4 you bounce back. Similar to emotionally exhausting, your goalie goes down, you give up a goal to make it a one-goal game, and you bounce back. Those are the things that you need to do to win in the postseason. Everybody's dealing with something, right? I mean, it almost felt like Devils fans were waiting, right? Because the moment somebody said, you couldn't even beat us and you injured our goalie, Devils fans were like waiting in the wings with Jack Hughes and the other Hughes and Dylan and this guy and that guy and the other guy. It's like, okay, yep, everybody's dealing with something, right? Canes are going to have to deal with a little goalie shuffle perhaps. Other teams have other injuries or other guys that aren't playing well. Everybody has to deal with something. It's how you control what you can control. And up till now, I think the Canes have done a great job of it in this series. Your stars are scoring, ride that wave. Your stars aren't scoring, find production elsewhere. Your goalie gets hurt, find out a way to win. They pull the goalie, find Svech.
Yeah, find Svech.
That's how it works, right? Or Jarvis.
By the way, we talked about Pyotr playing at home potentially tomorrow. Again, we don't know.
We have no clue, and we'll update you if we hear anything.
But
we do know Freddie didn't finish the last game, and Pyotr did. That's all we know.
So this season, Pyotr Kochetkov played 24 games at home. 19-4. 19-4-1, so 1 loss in overtime. Goals against 2.3. And a save percentage of .909. On the road, 23 games. You get 24 games at home, 23 games on the road. 8-12-2, 2.92 goals against, and an .886 save percentage. So if you want Pyotr Kochetkov to emergency start one game, maybe to close out a series, I'm happy it's at Lenovo.
That there are some very obvious home and away stats for the Canes as a whole, record at home, record on the road. That might explain it. If your goalies are just playing exceptional at home and not as good on the road, that's as good of a cause into the effect of winning more games at home as anything I can think of. So, yeah, maybe, again, that's another deal. Get them going at home. And 3-1. I don't know if you're like super cautious with Freddie, but you can afford. You have a lead. You want to end the series. Don't get me wrong. But yeah. Pyotr at home. There's a lot of things to take into the equation.
Finish the series. Get some rest.
You're darn right. Finish the series. Get some rest. It's that simple. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The starting 5 is coming up next. The latest Duke Blue Devil announced he's going pro over the weekend. We'll tell you who. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
John is in a hot tub on his vacation. He earned 20,000 points by spending $2,000 with his Navy Federal Credit Union More Rewards card. To be clear, You don't have to vacation in a hot tub to redeem this offer. But John did, because the bubbles make him happy. Right now, you can earn 20,000 points when you spend $2,000 in the first 90 days. Offer ends January 1st, 2026. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Visit NavyFederal.org for details.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right. Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Cool start this morning, not as cold tonight. Mostly clear skies, a low 53. We start a warming trend tomorrow, 85 and mostly sunny skies. We'll call it hot on Wednesday, 91. The old record is 90.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones this afternoon at the closing bell up 114 points to 40,227. Market update brought to you by North Carolina Amateur Sports. The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into the starting five, you want to let everybody know to subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. Very simple to find. We've been putting a ton of content around the Canes, around the NFL draft, around the transfer portal, everything else you can think of right there on our YouTube. So not right now, right? You're listening to the live version, but later on today, if you want to check it out, we'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe while you're there and tell your friends. Now, let's jump into the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. LeBron's got it. Brings it into Luka, and it's stolen, and that could be the game.
No, they still got 8 seconds between shot and game clock. They got to get a stop.
Edwards has it. Wolves lead by 1.
Got to get a stop and a rebound.
They score here, and it's curtains.
The NBA playoffs are going on. The NBA playoffs are going on. People are really enjoying. We even had a caller do it, kind of making fun of the Lakers. Oh, you got the most lopsided trade any of us can remember, and still you're down 3-1 to Minnesota. Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Yep. Facts are facts.
Lakers trail the series 3-1. I believe in their upcoming game, they're still like a 5 or 6 point favorite.
I'm sure they are.
So they're just hey.
Let's back in LA, I think, right?
I believe so. And LeBron and Luka backs against the wall should be really fun. If I'm the Timberwolves, I'm being pests. That's exactly what they did in Game 4. Anthony Edwards just decided, like, I'm going to exhaust them, and then they did. And that's what you have the option to do. Thunder 4-0 sweep of the Grizzlies. They're remaining one of the betting favorites. Nuggets Clippers 2-2. The Nuggets are low-key, and Dennis, I know you'll appreciate this. They're low-key playing with a ton of pressure on them because they fired their coach 4 games before the end of the regular season. If they don't go on to do something, then people are going to look at that real funny.
Like, oh, interesting.
So I think as a 4 versus 5 against the Clippers, they got to find a way to win that one. It's 2-2 at the moment. Warriors. Oh, I was wrong. I thought the Warriors were leading the Rockets 3-0 earlier. I'm on ESPN right now. It says the Warriors are leading the Rockets 2-1.
Yeah.
So I'm wrong there. Anything I research for ladder challenge is just going to be incorrect. I'm still with it, though. Steph Curry over 30 points plus rebounds plus assists. Rockets are just so much younger, but they don't have a Steph Curry. Steph Curry's like one more ridiculous run through the playoffs away from some really uncomfortable conversations having to be had about some players who we thought were unassailable in like their place in history, and Steph's going to be knocking on those doors.
And Jimmy Butler's not playing either.
I did see that as well. He
has a pelvic contusion.
Yeah, hard fall.
Yeah.
Hard fall. In the Eastern Conference, what do we have here? Cleveland leads the Heat 3-0, no surprise. Indy leads the Bucks 3-1 with Dame Lillard's injury. That's going to go quick. Knicks lead the Pistons 3-1, no surprise. And Boston leads the Magic 3-1, no surprise. East kind of going chalky. Hopefully they'll spice things up as it goes along. That is the NBA playoff update. Let's jump to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
Let's go, Duke, is the chant here at the Prudential Center. It's Cooper up top. Waiting. Proctor trying to get loose on the left. He'll drive into the paint. Lost it. It came to Maluach to throw it down.
Come on, Maluach, going pro. I think we knew it was coming. I think there's, and this is just kind of reading tea leaves, I think there was some, the only reason he delayed until the last second, right? He announced he was going pro on the day you had to have your name in the draft. I think part of it is because of we saw it with Alexander Nikishin, right? The visas, student visas, work visas. He's from South Sudan, which there was some political stuff going on there. So hopefully it's all sorted out and he can enter his name to go pro with confidence that it's all going to work out. Few things. One, he's a very good player and his skill set is tantalizing. And as far as a lob threat offensively, he grew leaps and bounds as the season went along. He's only been playing basketball for 4 or 5 years? 5 years. And to see where he was at the beginning of the year to where he was in the ACC and NCAA tournament, it was a stark contrast. By the end, he was being the mouthpiece of their defense at times, where guys would go out with it. Malik Brown goes out with an injury. Cooper Flagg was out with an injury, and he was taking over the communication and everything, which is exceptional for a player so new to the game. And then also offensively, it started probably with a week or two left in the regular season. It just became automatic for if he's on the floor and any wing was driving and help came to them, they just almost blindly threw up something near the rim. And he was catching and getting 2 points, right? Just dunks, dunks, dunks. So that skill set will be exciting for whoever drafts him in the NBA. I expect him to be a lottery pick, probably top 10. The flip side is, I do think Duke needs to bring in a rim protector. Right now that he's 100% gone, Ngongba's good. I don't see him as a true rim protector. I think he's more of an offensive big, and I'm not knocking him for it. He can obviously develop. Young guy, all the skill in the world, long arms. But he also has a penchant for picking up fouls. So even if you think Ngongba can be your rim protector, there were games this year where both Maluach and Ngongba were in foul trouble and had to go out. So if there's just one of them, you're going to need somebody else that can play that role. Cooper Flagg was kind of their break glass in case of emergency rim protector for Duke this past year. You can probably use Cam Boozer as some of that because he's another big guy forward that can do that. But you also probably want him on the perimeter, right? You probably want him doing other things. So Duke has been surprisingly quiet this post or off season, both in players leaving and in players coming back. It's almost like, every player that's an obvious go pro went pro. Everyone else is returning. Haven't brought in anyone out of the transfer portal. The first, hey, I think you actually need to do this, is I think they actually need to go get a rim protector. If there's a 7-footer somewhere, you don't have to be a 12-point scorer, but I do think, little down and dirty glue guy, screen setting, rebounding, and rim protection. It's got to be one out there somewhere, and I think Duke should go get it.
We haven't seen anything out of the transfer portal for Duke so far.
Not out nor in.
Yeah.
Not out nor in, which is...
And the window's closed to enter the transfer portal unless you're a graduate or your coach leaves.
Which
there are exceptions, but yeah, everyone's coming back to Duke that hasn't gone to the NBA.
Now, there's a few people that keep pointing out, and mostly to NC State fans, that I think of 247's top 100 transfers, 87 have committed somewhere, so there's only 13 left. I don't think that's a worry as much for Duke as it is some other programs, because they don't necessarily need to go get the stars, right? They need to search for specific skill sets, just like last year, right? What is it? Malik Brown, Sion James. These are guys in the 70s or 80s. I thought Sion James committed in early May. You can go get skill sets, meaning specific, rim protection, if that's all you're looking for. Shooting from 3, if that's all you're looking for. If you don't need a guy that's going to block 3 shots and give you 12 and give you 8 and give you, if you just need somebody that's going to block 3 shots, I think you can go find that. So I'm still very curious to see what Duke does in the transfer portal, especially because as soon as their season ended, there were quite a few reports that they had a treasure chest of money that they could spend on NIL, and we haven't really seen them spend much of any of it. So that's what I'm saying now that Maluach is officially gone, but also I think Duke probably knew he was gone long ago. It just wasn't officially announced. That was number 4. Let's go to number 3.
Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Yowzers. For those of you that haven't heard it yet, there is a video that's gone viral, but it's from CBS Sunday Morning. It was an interview with Bill Belichick. And they showed that his 20-something's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, sits in the room during the interview and gatekeeps questions. So they ask Bill Belichick a question. Notoriously headstrong, notoriously, I can handle myself with the media, Bill Belichick is asked a question, and his girlfriend is in the corner saying, we will not answer that. And they show one example of it. Some reporters have said they've reached out to CBS Sunday Morning. The reason they felt comfortable kind of putting that behind the scenes out there is because it was not a one-time thing. It was multiple times throughout the interview of her jumping in and saying, no, we're not going to talk about that. No, not that. Now listen, I don't care really about coaches, players' personal lives if it's nothing illegal. I don't know, who am I to judge? But I do understand. We had a caller call in earlier during our Monday sound off, a UNC fan that was just worried. Was like, I'm getting weird feelings. I have the same kind of weird deal going on there. I get it's awkward. I feel like I'm seeing something I shouldn't when this happens. But here's where I sympathize with UNC fans the most. UNC spent $10 million per year on Belichick, plus a commitment of a certain amount of money for front office staff and assistant coaches, plus a certain amount of commitment to NIL and revenue share money. I think we did the loose napkin math, and it came out to $45 million that they had promised in spending on football per year. That is a massive investment, which you're okay with if they're spending it on Bill Belichick because of what Bill Belichick is. Seeing this, it doesn't feel like the Bill Belichick you signed up for. Bill Belichick, 0% would talk about his personal life when he was the coach of the Patriots. 0% would be a window into what's going on in his personal life, but he's doing that now. And it's almost like we signed up for a certain version of a coach and we're not getting that. I don't know if and this might be too crazy of a reference, Dennis, you can tell me. It's like you hired Lil Wayne to come perform at your birthday party, and you're like, all right, we're going to get Lil Wayne. And he shows up, and like backstage, he's just warming up with like a cowboy hat and an acoustic guitar singing Home on the Range.
Okay.
And you're just going like,
this feels off.
I don't think I'm about to get what I paid for, right? It feels like I'm going to get campfire songs with Lil Wayne, right? So you hire Bill Belichick, and you're expecting this football diehard cyborg, right? Who for decades and decades and decades ran an NFL team with all spotlights on him, and you didn't know a darn thing about his personal life. And he didn't talk about it, and if you would have asked about it, he would have gone, come on, man, I'm here to talk about football. But if you talk to him about long snapping, he would give you a 10,000-word, complete dissertation. Now he shows up, and granted, you haven't seen him coach yet, right? The football team hasn't played, but it does feel like he's warming up to do something that you didn't have. Like it's going to be a bit more reality television and a bit less everything moving towards winning. So I get the concern if there's concern for UNC fans. Now here's the thing. Maybe that's how Lil Wayne warms up now. Maybe he's about to go up and rap a milli, and he's about to drop the world on its bleeping head, and he's about to hit all of the songs that you love. So maybe Belichick is going to do the Belichick thing once the season comes around, and this is just how he warms up now. This is his off season. But I get it's weird and different than what you're used to seeing. It's weird. Like, by the way, the same could happen in reverse. Can you imagine if let me think of another like high-profile hire. If like Sean McVay took another job, and then suddenly Sean McVay is like showing up and his beard is scraggly and he's not putting gel in his hair and he looks a little out of shape, and you're just like, I don't know. I signed up for the guy that everything was in perfect order, and I'm getting this kind of ragamuffin. I don't know. I hope he can still coach. Just makes it feel uneasy. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us.
NFL draft came to a close over the weekend. I'll give you the rundown of the Panthers picks. Their first pick, 8th overall, Teteroa McMillan, Arizona wide receiver. Nick Scourton, how do you say this one? Scorton.
Yeah, I messed it up too.
It's spelled Scourton, and I'm having a hard time breaking out of that one. But Texas A&M edge rusher, second-round pick. Third-round pick, Princely Umamielan.
There you go.
That was better that time.
Umamielan.
Ole Miss edge. Trevor Etienne, the running back from Georgia, started his career with Florida in the 4th round. Later in the 4th, Lathan Ransom, safety from Ohio State. 5th round, early 5th round, Cam Jackson, Florida defensive tackle. Later in the 5th, Mitchell Evans, Notre Dame tight end. And then their final pick, which was near the end of the 6th round, ended up being Jimmy Horn, Jr., wide receiver from Colorado. I gave my thoughts earlier. I will echo some of them, but Dennis, did you come away satisfied with what the Panthers did?
I was concerned after Thursday night about okay, you went offense, even though you historically had one of the worst defenses ever. I understand they made a bunch of free agent signings, but I was not passing up on a premium defensive player or a high-end defensive player to go wide receiver is a gutsy move. And then they doubled up on the edge rushers and guys that are a little bit different from each other. Scorton more built ready to play against the run, whereas Princely Umamielan is more ready to get to the quarterback.
And is kind of built like Jalen Walker, for being real.
Yes, a little bit taller and longer.
Yep.
Long arms. So you're getting a guy in the 3rd round that could be a situational pass rusher right away. So I like the way they double dipped on that as well. They got a safety. The draft did leave me wanting a little bit more. I still think they needed more in terms of defensive in the secondary. Just getting one safety I don't think is enough. They still need help at corner. I thought they maybe could have gone somewhere in that route as opposed to maybe going I don't know, a second wide receiver.
No, there were a couple winners, right? People talk about winners like Chase Brown, the Bengals running back.
Yeah.
Supposedly was a winner because the Bengals didn't take another running back until the 7th, right? And people were expecting some competition to be brought in, maybe a
Possibly.
J2 pick. Damani Richardson and Shaw Smith-Wade, I think, are kind of that kind of winner for the Panthers because they are guys in the secondary that got opportunities and did well with them last year, and now maybe are going to be higher on the depth chart than some thought, right? If they had taken a safety in the 2nd and a corner in the 4th and then a safety again in the 6th, those guys probably get knocked down the depth chart a little bit. But with them only taking Lathan Ransom, they probably are going to be depended upon more on the depth chart.
But overall, just looking at this roster on paper now, it's so much better than what it was last year.
Yes.
It's so much better.
I'll give you that. Here's what I think happened. I think in the first round, they had McMillan maybe as a top 4 guy on their board.
Yeah.
I think there was a possibility that it was Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, and McMillan might have been right after that or within a couple of picks of that. And they didn't think he was going to be there, right? If they looked above them, Raiders needed playmaking, Jets needed playmaking, Browns needed playmaking, Jags, who traded up, but they were kind of right there, needed playmaking. Offensively, I don't think they thought he was going to be there. And then once he was, they kind of had to pivot, and maybe even a bit of a overreaction, which I think was an appropriate overreaction, was taking edge rushers in the 2nd and 3rd, right? Part of their kind of math was we expect to take an edge rusher unless somebody falls to us, and then somebody fell, and they went, all right, well, we still need to take care of edge rusher, so the next 2 picks, we're going edge rusher. That was like their reaction. I don't hate the plan of their draft at all. I do think some of the evaluations, right, some players that they obviously were high on, I wasn't as high on. So we'll just have to see over time who was right. But I do like the structure of their draft as far as completing their roster. If there's one that's really going to eat at me, it's Trevor Etienne.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that one.
I don't get it. I watched. Actually, I could bring up the whole thing right here. Let me bring up my Trevor Etienne little board that I have here. To me, he was one game. He played at Florida for a couple years, then he played at Georgia. Had a good run through the postseason. I'll give him that. He was better short yardage in the postseason. But really, like, what was it? For Florida in 23 against Tennessee, he had a really big game. 23 carries, 172 yards, and a touchdown. Other than that, I didn't see anything super special. Little undersized. Doesn't have the long speed that his brother has. He's obviously Travis Etienne's little brother. He had no 100-yard games in the regular season this year. His highest on-field speed was 20.9 miles per hour, which is not super speedy. That came in the SEC championship game. Under 5'9", 202 pounds. I don't see that one. And I thought there were some good running backs still on the board. So if there's one to nitpick, it's the Etienne deal. Hopefully Chuba Hubbard stays healthy, and then the next year Jonathan Brooks comes back and is healthy and explosive, and then you don't really have to depend on him a ton. But I just, if there's one to nitpick, that's it. That's number 2. Let's hit number 1.
Does a good job to get it to Gossesbear. Now Aho across the ring for Jarvis, looking for a tip, they'll score! And Andrei Svechnikov has gone to beast mode, his 2nd goal of the game.
Andrei Svech, a playoff Hattie for the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't care what the situation is. It's always good to see Svech hitting his stride for the Carolina Hurricanes, especially at this time of year.
Don't forget he had, 5 hits, 6 hits?
5 hits, more shots on goal than even the goals he scored. Aggressive. He's in a good spot right now.
It's like, that's that. There's the Andre. There he is.
And
there he is.
Kind of like wily veteran stuff that I think is going to have to become a part of his game as maybe, the knee injuries over time have robbed him some of the top speed. The first goal, the turnaround, like just taking a shot that isn't expected, right? It's good. Because sometimes he passes on shots, and I'm going, dude, take the shot. That time it was very much like, all right, he's going to pass it. Oh, wait, goal scored. Like very, very cool for Andrei Svechnikov. For more insight into the Canes' win, particularly the win in Game 4 on Sunday, we have 2 minutes of gold with our very own Adam Gold. Enjoy.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I've got 2 minutes for two players who made two big plays, one good and one bad, as the Hurricanes took Game 4 in New Jersey by a 5-2 count. And it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. And strangely enough, we're not even going to talk about the guy who had the hat trick. Andrei Svechnikov now has 2 playoff hat tricks for Carolina. The only person ever to do that. That is incredible. And Andrei was really good, so that's a positive sign. But we are going to start with Jacob Slavin, who made 2 highlight-producing plays in the same sequence. The first part is a steal from Steph Nason that in and of itself was incredible, and then, at this point, a patented Jacob Slavin goal over the shoulder, behind the head of Jacob Markstrom, back bar, that made it 2-0.
Gaines trying to clear it out, but Siegenthaler will find it. They played up for Nason. Nason can't get it around Slavin. What a play by Jacob Slavin. Slavin goes short side. He scores! Roll the highlight reel. What a playoff goal. Jacob Slavin puts Carolina up 2-0.
If he just completes the steal and doesn't even shoot the puck, it's a highlight play. The steal itself was that good, and then to finish it off with the goal was just incredible. This is why Slavin is, for me, as good as there is at the position in the entire league. But the other play was a bad one, because it could prove costly for Carolina. About 5 minutes into the second period, after repeatedly seeing Frederik Andersen rob him of goals, Timo Meier took matters into his own shoulder, if you will.
Now Heischer trying to find some room. He'll leave it for Palat. Aho cuts him off, and that drive is going to go wide and all the way out of the zone. And Burns is going to be able to change.
Tough hit for Meier on Freddie Andersen. Tough hit. Well within the paint. Tough hit.
You can miss me with the Andrei Svechnikov pushed Meier into Andersen. The momentum had stopped. Meier then delivered his shoulder to the chest of Andersen. It wasn't a terrible hit, but it was a hit to the goaltender that was intentional. No doubt about it. Was Meier trying to be dirty? I don't think so. Was he trying to get in Andersen's kitchen? I believe so. Does the result matter? It may in this case, since the NHL only seems to punish results, although I am not suggesting in any way that Meier will face supplemental discipline. The Hurricanes will take matters into their own hands by winning this series in 5, and I look forward to the handshake line. There is no question. By the way, the Hurricanes, if Andersen can't return in this series, or maybe is out for an extended period of time, because you just never know with what appears to be a head injury, then the Hurricanes will have some juggling to do. Pyotr Kochetkov came on, allowed a bad goal to Meier, which, by the way, was salt in the wound, but then played well the rest of the way. So maybe it's Piotr's net for at least the balance of this series. Either way, the Hurricanes will have some decisions to make if Freddie can't continue. Visit ParkwaySleep.com and end your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for retribution against Timo Meier. Sort of kidding.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold. As of the current moment, we don't have more to add on the status of Freddie Andersen. I will give you this. Freddie was playing great. Freddie was playing really, really well this postseason, which makes that whole situation more frustrating. But also, it's an opportunity for Pyotr Kochetkov, right? Pyotr's trying to establish himself. It's still crazy. He's still a young guy, has not been in the league too long, although it feels like he's ridden the roller coaster up and down a billion times. If he gets a chance to play a game or two here, I can't emphasize how important and critical it is for him if he plays well and he can start building off of that, as far as building confidence and building a postseason resume, which he's been adding to here and there over the years. So a lot going on there. We'll see. Tomorrow's a home game. Everybody plays better at home, so we'll see. They need to there's an emphasis. They need to close out the series. Get the rest, get healthy. I don't want to say must win, but it's a really, really would like to win game for the Canes at home against the Devils.
You don't want to have to travel back to New Jersey. You don't.
at all.
You don't want to travel back to New Jersey.
And by the way, like the Friday game, a desperate team on their home ice coming up with an emotional, exhausting overtime, like that's I don't want to say it's okay because it's not. You want to win every game, but it's acceptable. You don't want to keep giving them life, right? You gave them their one. All right, you didn't get swept. Now take care of business. Get ready for the second round.
Gentleman's sweep.
Make it happen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to Adam once again for 2 minutes of gold. Right now, we need some numbers game contestants, correct?
So we do.
We do. The prize for today is a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. Pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams, Pat Benatar, and Neil Giraldo at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. You need to win the numbers game to get the tickets, though. In order to win, you need to play. In order to play, you need to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game coming up next.
Need more Stanley Cup chatter, Canes fans? Listen afternoons at 12:15 and 4:15 for our Cup Check-In. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Adam Gold talks with hockey's best, past and present, bringing you the latest insight on the chase for Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the Cup Check-In on 99.9 The Fan. Served up by Carolina Ale House. Come to Carolina Ale House Cary for away game watch parties throughout the playoffs, or visit carolinaalehouse.com/Canes.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner, right here in the Triangle. With $215 billion in business loans and over 3,700 business specialists across the nation, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
March 12th, 2025, EP and Company, B2C, message from Bucks, multi-radio, U.S. English, 30-second full mix.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just 2 deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks, you know? Like us?
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, who's what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. Today's prize, as we talked about before the break, a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. The contestants that'll be battling it out, John in Apex and Isaiah in Wake Forest. As always, I will ask a question. Dennis will choose his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. John in Apex, we'll start with you. Are you ready to answer?
I am, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. It's a Monday, so what was the highlight of your weekend? But because we're a sports show, make it a sports highlight. What was the sports highlight of your past weekend?
Yeah, I got to say it was the best of times and the worst of times. Friday, not so good with the game. Sunday, pretty awesome. Either way, I had bourbon, so it was a good weekend.
All right. It's a little up and down. I like it. Dennis, any follow-ups? Nope.
No questions.
All right. Isaiah in Wake Forest, you are up next. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. The same question to you. It is a Monday, so what was the highlight of your past weekend? But because we're a sports show, make it a sports highlight.
I'm just gonna have to say the NBA playoffs. Seeing the Celtics get another win. I'm not really cheering for them, and also seeing the Lakers lose. So.
All right, you're not a Celtics fan? You just randomly chose the Celtics winning and the Lakers losing as your two favorites?
Yeah, I'm a Hornets fan, but he chose my answer, so.
Oh, all right. Rookie mistake there. Dennis, which one gets to go first?
Well, I think self-awareness there by Isaiah,
Yeah.
so I'll give him credit on that one. So I got to go John and Apex.
All right.
John and Apex on this one.
Just fun fact for everybody. As soon as the second person says, oh, first person took my answer, Dennis is always giving it to the first person because even you agree it was the right answer. But going second, it's really not that bad. So stay on the line. You'll just have to wait a little bit, Isaiah. John and Apex, are you ready to pick your category? John and Apex, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you now. The category.
Hurricanes are for 500, Alex.
Okay, you don't want to hear the other categories? You're going straight to the Canes?
Go straight to the Canes, man. That's what I know.
All right. I like your decisiveness. I will give you the player and the team. I will say the team, even though obviously you know it in this category, to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. So I'll give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Mark Jankowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
22?
Incorrect. Taylor Hall, Carolina Hurricanes.
71.
Correct. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
14?
Incorrect. Mark Jankowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
Incorrect. Jack Drury, Carolina Hurricanes.
16.
Incorrect. Mark Jankowski, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Max Domi, Carolina Hurricanes.
That's a good one. 51?
Incorrect.
Dang.
First of all, I appreciate you complimenting our quiz makers here. As you struggled there. Oh, that's a good one. Jankowski, 77, which is interesting. You said 22 because it kind of looks like a 7 with a tail. So I'm wondering if your mind's eye didn't get it a little messed up.
I think I went Stankus to the other guy.
Stanko, yep, other new guy. That's another one. I should have saw that. You got Taylor Hall with 71. Jack Drury, 18 we were looking for.
That's right.
And then Max, when he was with the Canes, were number 13. That's what we were looking for. That was the good one for you. So there you go. That's you got one. You avoided the shutout. Not going to say you put up the biggest fight, but we've seen crazier things happen. So stay on the line. We'll see if it holds
good, man. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Isaiah in Wake Forest, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories for you to choose from are NFL players from the 2022 NFL draft class, NFL players from the 2018 NFL draft class, or NBA players. We're talking only LeBron's all-time teammates, players that played with LeBron.
NFL 2022 draft class.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You do need at least 2 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Garrett Wilson, New York Jets.
10.
Incorrect. Romeo Doubs, Green Bay Packers.
4.
Incorrect. Garrett Wilson, New York Jets.
1.
Incorrect. Romeo Doubs, Green Bay Packers.
Pass.
James Cook, Buffalo Bills.
4.
Correct. Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals.
87.
Incorrect. Garrett Wilson, New York Jets.
4.
Incorrect. Romeo Doubs, Green Bay Packers.
3.
Incorrect. Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals.
85.
I got to look at the judges.
Buzzer.
All right, be honest with us. What was the first thing you said for Garrett Wilson? You said 10, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure because it broke up a little bit, but 10 was incorrect. We were looking for Garrett Wilson. We were looking for 5 or 17. He has worn both. Romeo Dobbs, we were looking for 87. For James Cook, you did get it right with 4. We would have accepted 4 or 28. He wore both. And Trey McBride, you had it after the buzzer. 85 is the number we were looking for. Incorrect. Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals.
85.
I tried to speed it up for you. Unfortunately, 1, not enough for the win. Tie goes to whoever goes first. So hopefully you had some fun, but it's not enough for the win.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. And that means, against all odds, John in Apex.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. You got the win. All you needed was Taylor Hall, number 71. That's it.
I don't feel good about it, but I'll take it.
Hey, you don't give wins back. You win the tickets. Go ahead and stand in the line. Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get the tickets. But the winner goes to see, Brian Adams with Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. Congratulations there. I hope that had something to do with my advice, because I say 71 is a good one for the Canes. It just seems like it comes up a lot, right? Whether it's Jesper Fost, whether it's Taylor Hall, there just seems to be a lot of 71s that pop up for the Canes. So keep that in mind. If you're ever stuck, throw 71 out there. I overthink this way too much. Also, use your passes earlier. I think both of them probably could have hit a pass earlier. But that's it for my advice on how to play the numbers game super effectively. Taylor Hall's a guy that I think is due for a scoring outburst, right? It's been a while since he found the back of the net. Granted, when you're playing on some lines with some other scorers, it's still buzzing. But I think Taylor Hall could score. I think that would be all right with all of us when we're looking at the Canes. By the way, tomorrow is a hockey night in Carolina. The Canes will be playing at home at the Lenovo Center, which means we will be out at the concourse. We'll be out on the plaza doing our show live from 3. We'll go all the way up till 6:30 before passing things off to a 1-hour storm watch with Adam Gold, and then puck drop at 7:30. Another kind of weird time, but it's better than 6 o'clock last time, right? But with that comes first goal scorer predictions. So be ready to call in with your first goal scorer predictions, as well as if you're out there tailgating and you want to stop by and just tell us your first goal scorer predictions. We love interacting with you guys. We had a young fan jump on the show out there in the plaza before game 2. So we're looking forward to being out there again tomorrow for game 5.
It's going to be a fun time.
Stop by, say hi. There will be QR codes you can scan to win prizes and a whole bunch of cool stuff.
I believe we are giving away a Seth Jarvis signed puck.
There you go.
That's where you can enter to win a Seth Jarvis signed puck. More reason to swing by.
There it is. Go out and scan. And just a piece of advice, I've heard you can do this because, sometimes at arenas, all the people are there. You don't have great reception. I've heard you can take a picture of the QR code, and then when you get better reception, use it to enter and to win.
Oh, okay.
So if you're there, right, you're trying to click on the link and it doesn't have reception, you can kind of like save that for later when you have better reception.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. I've heard. People have told me. Don't quote me if it doesn't work. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Not only was the weekend a big weekend for the Carolina Panthers as far as bringing prospects from all over the country into our state, it was also exciting for prospects that played their college football in our state that were going to be sent all over the country to live out their dreams. We look at some of the local guys drafted coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
And I get asked all the time, what's the key for Carolina to go far in the playoffs? There are 2 keys. One is obvious. Got to get decent goaltending. Either Frederik Andersen or Pyotr Kochetkov need to be at least good. But if you want to go far in the playoffs, Andrei Svechnikov has to be something resembling the player that got a $7.75 million contract.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Oh, wow, honey, I love it. It's so beautiful and so sparkly.
Just like you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll wear it every day. It goes with everything.
This Mother's Day, wow Mom with spirit-lifting, outfit-making, express your love jewelry. Shop jtv.com/mom for wow-worthy and budget-friendly styles.
I'm never taking it off.
Another wow factor? Sign up for JTV Text and get $30 off. If she loves jewelry, she'll love JTV.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protected by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
John is in a hot tub on his vacation. He earned 20,000 points by spending $2,000 with his Navy Federal Credit Union More Rewards card. To be clear, you don't have to vacation in a hot tub to redeem this offer. But John did, because the bubbles make him happy. Right now, you can earn 20,000 points when you spend $2,000 in the first 90 days. Offer ends January 1st, 2026. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Visit NavyFederal.org for details.
The Body Armor State Games are coming this June to Greensboro. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Athletes of all ages and skills can register now at bodyarmorstategames.org.
Shovel pass to Hampton, wide open, 30, 20, 10, touchdown Tar Heels!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There were just 3 guys from in-state schools drafted. That, first of all, should be part of a bigger conversation about how some of these programs either aren't acquiring or developing the talent that they should be. But also, it's a bummer. Not only is it part of like a really analytic, like, where's the deficiency, right? Are the ACC schools in the state not getting the recruits, not getting the transfers, or are they not developing them and showcasing them in a way once they get on campus, right? We need to dissect all of that. But in the meantime, right, let's not throw a wet blanket on some fun conversations. Omarion Hampton, UNC running back, first round, 22nd pick to the Chargers. Anthony Belton, NC State offensive tackle, also the 22nd pick of a round, 22nd pick of the second round, goes to the Packers. And then Siobhan Ravel, a ECU cornerback dealing with an injury most of this year, went to the 12th pick of the third round to the Cowboys. I'm going to say it. I love all those landing spots. There is obviously, you want to go high in a draft. Don't get me wrong, okay? The money, the security, the investment that a team makes in you gives you more chances. It increases your value to the league. So you do want to go higher in the draft. But like within little pods, I think you'd give up like 2 or 3 picks to go to the right spot.
Oh, absolutely.
Like once you say like, all right, you're going between 20 and 26. Like, all right, if you take out Omarion Hampton probably would have loved to have gone like 8th. right? Maybe not to the Panthers because they have their running backs, but that was just using an example. 9th or whatever it ended up being. But once you say, like, all right, you're going to go 20 on, 22 to the Chargers might be position A. That might have been his number one option because you're going to a team that has studs at offensive tackle, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt. You have a quarterback that's going to keep teams honest in Justin Herbert, and you have a coach that is dedicated to the run in Jim Harbaugh, and I'm not afraid of Najee Harris being in the backfield with Omari and Hampton. He got backup money, 1-year deal. This is Hampton's backfield. Anthony Belton going to the Packers. This is a team that has used an insane amount of draft capital on wide receivers and tight ends and playmakers to help Jordan Love. Offensive line is going to be something they're looking to get production out of a second-round pick like Anthony Belton. There's going to be opportunities there, if not this year, in the near future. And I don't think, from what I've seen from him at State, I don't think a year or two to develop for him is the end of the world, especially a team that has a second-round investment in him because you know they're going to give you that chance at some point.
I think he will probably kick into guard, even though he played left tackle at State. I think a lot of people are projecting him to move inside, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong at all. For a team that I think their offense is on the up and up, and I think Matt LaFleur is one of the best play callers in the entire sport.
By the way, look in recent years, Belton's been drafted offensive lineman, Chandler Zavala offensive lineman, also Ike Ekwonu. All offensive linemen in the last 3 years from NC State, all getting drafted.
I think I saw they've had 18 offensive and defensive linemen since like 2018 or something along those lines. They in the trenches they are producing. You're right. And then Siobhan Revelle, ECU cornerback. I mean, if you're going to be a corner, a playmaking corner, especially like him, they have Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs, so Revelle can get as healthy as he needs to. Right, he popped his knee early in this past year. So if he's not ready right from the jump, you don't need him. But also, the Cowboys are going to be in some shootouts now. The Cowboys always are, right? I am wildly surprised they did not draft a higher drafted running back or a higher drafted wide receiver. It seems like it's going to be the Dak Prescott trying to find CeeDee Lamb show once again, and that defense is going to be doing everything they can to keep up. So Revelle, he's a physical beast, tall, long, fast, all those sorts of things. I think there could be a spot for him with the Cowboys long term.
For sure.
So 3 great landing spots.
Yeah.
How about it?
I thought Taylor made Omari and Hampton. You want to talk about a perfect fit for his running style and a coach and an offensive system that wants a running back built like Hampton? It's like a match made in heaven.
And it's a first-round running back, which doesn't happen that often, and the reason being is because you have to get huge volume in order to have the type of impact that makes a first-round running back a value pick. So expect Hampton to get the ball.
I know you and I talked, it was a couple months ago during the draft when the combines and all that stuff were taking place. We were like, what would be a good fit for Hampton? You and I both went Chargers.
Broncos would have been okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, Steelers would have been okay. Like I don't think his skill set is one that is like super puzzle piece. Like he's not super unique in that. I think he could work in a lot of offenses.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't know if there's anything the Chargers don't have that you would have put on a wish list for Omari and Hampton.
You had 2 stud offensive tackles in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, a damn good quarterback, and a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that wants to play that run the ball, control the clock, tough style. He's perfect. He's perfect fit.
And Lad McConkey's a nice pickup. They got Trey Harris, the wide receiver, so that you can keep teams honest. They can't stack the box, which is going to be something unusual for Omari and Hampton after this past year. It's a really, really good landing spot for a young running back. And also, we have to give a shout-out. I don't like doing this because they're a Panthers divisional opponent. We have to give a shout-out to the Falcons.
Yeah.
They love guys from North Carolina. And their first-round pick, they drafted Jalen Walker, edge rusher from Georgia. We talked to his high school coach on Thursday. He's a guy from North Carolina. Many pegged towards going to the Panthers. Panthers passed on him at 8. He fell to the mid-first, drafted by the Falcons. Then they trade back up in the first to draft James Pierce, another edge rusher from the state of North Carolina. Raheem Morris said, I want some dogs. I know where to go. I'm going to go to the great state of North Carolina and find me a couple of edge rushers.
You think after they drafted Pierce, they called Walker back like, hey, I know you're coming down I-85 right now. You need you to stop by Chambers High School, pick up James Pierce, and then drive through South Carolina, through all these potholes, and come on down here to Atlanta.
And I just need you to listen to like Tupac and Led Zeppelin the whole way. Like just get fired up, because when you two get here, we need a couple of dogs off the edge. And by the way, like, I know I said I don't like to say it because of the Panthers. Like, you're gonna have to deal with some dogs off the edge now.
Oh yeah.
The Panthers announced after the draft that they're picking up Ike Ekwonu's 5th-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. Those two guys are going to be trying to beat you off the edge. Speed, and more speed.
Atlanta has not had a double-digit person with double-digit sacks in the season since 2016 when they went to the Super Bowl. That was Vic Beasley. That's the last time they had someone reach double-digit sacks. So yeah, like they're putting a lot of investment. Like, all right, you two guys are going to help turn this defense around. Because theoretically, they have all the offensive pieces if Michael Penix turns out.
They did trade, I think, a little much to get Michael Pierce. But, you got to bet
James
on
Pierce?
Yeah, what did I say?
Michael Pierce?
That's not
him too.
That's not who I meant. But I do think they traded a lot away to draft James Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a true bet on themselves, because it was last year's first was involved. Next year's first is involved. So if you're not good this year, the Panthers know what that feels like, right? Trade away a future first and then end up being one of the top picks in the draft. It stings pretty darn bad. So they're betting on Michael Penix to be great and those two guys to get after the quarterback. And it'll be fun in the division.
And here's the thing with Pierce. It's not a question of his talent. It's off the field stuff.
Yeah, I think you'd like for him to be a little bit heavier.
Yeah, but I think his frame can handle it.
We're nitpicking, and the dude is fast.
He's fast. That first step is amazing.
Yep.
Like, he's good. Like, he's damn good edge rusher. So they might have stolen themselves a darn good one.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and by the way, that's part of the opportunity cost for a team like the Panthers. Panthers, everybody knew they needed edge rushers, and they knew that they had the 8th overall pick. When you pass on an edge rusher there, that means there's a really good player at a position you need going to somebody else further down. They're getting better value than even that. So, the same thing is true. Like, Tedero McMillan has to turn out to be a super stud, not just because he drafted him 8th, but because of what you could have had at 8th that you would have helped at other positions of need. And that's, but also, you got to say the Panthers probably knew the James Pierces and the Jalen Walkers better than most because of the proximity to their hometowns and everything else. So, maybe they know something everybody doesn't. The beauty of the draft, is we got to wait 3 years before anybody knows anything.
Yeah, that's true.
We got to wait 3 years before anybody knows anything. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he didn't get enough volume. He was a bust. We're talking about wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, he's really, really good, and now he's projected to be one of the best young wide receivers in the league. So even after a year, you can't really, as long as they show enough, right? They're not complete busts. You can't really bail on anybody yet.
I know we have 2 minutes here, but McMillan, Legette, Coker, those three young guys, how do you see them intertwining and working together?
McMillan, Alpha 1, get the most targets. Legette has to prove to me something. I'm the most on the fence. He's the most high ceiling, low floor. And Jalen Walker, I think he's dependable. I think he's steady Eddie. Like, if you have, to me, Tedero McMillan's the one. The second wide receiver spot can almost be reserved for like veteran X. It could be for right now.
Thielen?
Yeah, Thielen. Goodness gracious. I want to call him. Never mind. Adam Thielen to me is the number 2 right now. Number 3 is Jalen Walker. Sorry, goodness gracious. Jalen Coker. It's too many Jalens. Jalen Coker. And then Xavier Legette, it's like, hey, we'll put you where you earn, right? Show us what you are. Stay healthy. Show us that you're making plays. We can drop you into any slot below McMillan, but you got to earn that. That's where I'm looking at it right now. And they have 2 good pass catching options at tight end, which is exciting. Some athleticism there, and Chuba Hubbard in the backfield, and I guess Trevor Etienne. Don't love that pick.
And also, Dave Canales loves rotating his guys in and out too.
And as a play caller, knowing who you want in specific situations, that's big brain stuff, right? That's not just thinking about the best play. It's getting them out there early enough and everything else. So Dave Canales wants to bite off that. He better not be more than he can chew, because that's a tough deal. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tomorrow we will be live outside of the Lenovo Center, so stop out and see us. We'll be right there on the plaza talking hockey most of the day. Should be a really fun day ahead of Game 5, in which you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of talking hockey, we're starting off Overdrive reacting to yesterday's Canes win. So we'll start Overdrive there. We'll hit more on our reactions to the draft, and subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Like, subscribe, pass it to your friends. We'd greatly appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow outside the Lenovo Center. Until then, have a great night.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Giants.
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov, stop! It's on the goal line behind him! He does a snow angel in the paint!
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we wanna be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave.
Oh, what a beautiful day.
This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat.
Let's run another marathon.
And regular deodorant.
How much more?
Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure.
For nearly 140 years, the Salvation Army of Wake County has been serving our community, providing shelter, clothing, food, and emergency disaster services to those in need. Now the Army needs our help. With an increase in demand for services, they need help restocking their food pantry. Items needed include canned goods, pasta, and rice. Your generosity can make a big difference for a struggling family. Help the Army, help others. Donations can be dropped off at the Salvation Army Center of Hope at 1863 Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader. It's 6 o'clock. Time to shift into overdrive. All highlights, no filler. As we run it back from the drive with Tim Donnelly.
I'm not superstitious, but I do think I have to own up to something here, Dennis.
You're a little stitious?
Yeah, I mean, we're learning that a little bit about the goalies. I think Friday was on me. The loss. I've watched every single minute live of games 1, 2, and 4. Game 3, I had a wedding. One of my wife's friends had a wedding, so I couldn't watch. And even when I got there, my cell service wasn't great, so I couldn't even super stay up to the draft or the Canes. And worse, the wedding was in Dallas. So I was kind of too close to wherever Rantanen ended up, and it just felt like there was bad energy. They lost on Friday. It was a Friday wedding, so it was all going on Friday. I will put it this way, though. I don't feel like I've suffered with the fan base the way Friday should have, because I ended up, and I've now watched every minute of both Games 3 and Games 4. I've now ended up watching it all, but I watched in reverse order. On Sunday afternoon, I watched all of Game 4, and then I watched Game 3. And I'll tell you like this. Obviously, a slow start on Friday. Didn't get the first goal till the third period. Doesn't sting as much when you already know that Svetch scores in the first minute of Game 4. Right? It's like, all right, they solved it. Cool. Love it. This stinks watching it, but I know it's already solved, so I don't have to worry about it. Seeing Slavin get beat by Jesper Bratt on one of those goals on Friday, right, and end up being Mercer's goal, but Slavin involved, doesn't hurt as much when you know Slavin makes maybe the coolest play of the day on Sunday when he just picks Nason's pocket and then finds an impossible angle goal, turning defense to offense. Right? It's the whole, like, Aho and Jarvis, right? Combine on a couple of clutch goals in the third period. Then you watch the overtimes and you learn that those goals are kind of wasted, right? They don't steal a win for you. Hurts. Till you know that you have a Svechnikov playoff Hattie coming your way on Sunday. Doesn't sting as much. So I kind of, if you can somehow predict the future, I kind of advise don't watch the losses until they've already bounced back with a win. It really doesn't make the losses sting as bad. Is it the right way to think about it? No, but I was kind of forced into it, and it made it so. And by the way, we haven't had a show between the two games, Friday and Sunday. So it does kind of add up to, I like the response on Sunday. As much as I didn't like dropping the game on Friday, I liked the response on Sunday a ton. I liked the response from Sunday as a culture win a bunch. With the added caveat that on Sunday, watching Freddie Andersen goes down, that's really all you can think of in a lot of ways. Now, Kochetkov came in. You know, I gave him his free pass, right? The first goal, your head's spinning. You weren't expecting to have to go out there. You're a little chaotic. Cool. You get one free pass. From that point on, lock in. It appears as if he did. Rod Brindamore in the postgame was asked how Kochetkov handled being thrown in that situation. This is what Rod had to say.
You can't ask for a tougher situation and then give up a dirt ball goal, right? I mean, that's, but the way to bounce back. I mean, that to me, I could have just crumbled in a minute. And we know that about him, right? He's got a great ability to just kind of move on and get right back to it. So, we got, I thought he played great after that. So we didn't give up a ton, which was key. But when we did, he made some couple of good saves, and that's what obviously you need.
Last I checked, we don't have any updates on Freddie Andersen, which means, again, superstitious people keep holding your breath, right? Keep knocking on every piece of wood that you pass by, throwing salt over your shoulder, whatever you want to do, because it is a difficult situation for Pyotr Kochetkov moving forward if he is out there operating with no safety net, right? Freddie Andersen, his reputation. Fragile Freddie. So I'm not saying this is anything that you shouldn't be prepared for, but it is something that the way Freddie was playing you wish didn't happen. And Pyotr Kochetkov, we know the form he's in, right? It hasn't been the best, but we also know he's capable of hot streaks. Mm-hmm. So will that into existence. You'll hear me say this, as long as Pyotr Kochetkov has to be in net, goal scorers score an extra, right? Blue liners block an extra, right? Do everything you can to support the guy in net who's trying to find that hot streak again. It's what you do in team sports. Right, I've been the backup quarterback thrust in due to injury. When you get in there, you're looking at your receivers like, hey, man, 50-50 balls. Really need you on this one. You're looking at your offensive line saying, hey, I'm not in rhythm. Give me an extra half second. Backup goalies get in these situations. Hey, block one more shot for me, right? Don't turn it over for me. And I know that's, you're never trying to, but I need a little extra.
And Kochetkov's high-end play isn't that far off from Freddie's high-end play. If anything, they're equal. It's all about the consistency for those two guys. I mean, Kochetkov, after that softie that he gave up very first shot he faced. He stopped the next 14. His save percentage was 93.3. You can't really ask for much better for a guy thrown in that situation.
No, and like I said, you get your free pass. I give you one there, especially when the team already had a multiple goal lead, right? You get your free pass and then lock in, and that appears to be what he did. And all right, the goal scorers took care of scoring goals, and everything else happened the way it should.
By the way, we have no update on Freddie. Rob Brittamore talked to the media earlier today and said, I have no update on Freddie. I'm still waiting to hear. That's all we know.
So keep the superstitions rolling, whatever you do.
Whatever you got to do.
This is almost a be careful what you wish for situation from me, too. Because, I mean, for most of the year, I was in favor of it being Pyotr Kochekov's net in the postseason, partially because we have seen Freddie in the postseason a bit, and I kind of wanted to know what a Pyotr postseason would look like, because I do think he has a certain lack of fear as a positive, right? A certain edge as a positive. And then the way the stretch kind of played out where Freddie ramped up and Pyotr lost his form for a bit, I flipped and went, I don't know how you give the net to Pyotr. But at this point, it's be careful what you wish for. You wanted Pyotr in net. Here you go, Tim. Let's see how it goes. I'll tell you this. It's an easier job for whoever's in goal if Andrei Svechnikov plays like Andrei Svechnikov played on Sunday. Right? If we've been talking about how his play at the top level unlocks a higher potential for this team. Obviously, one was an empty netter. Shout out empty netter, empty netter Svech, right? Living up to the nickname. But the 2 goals, that's huge. Here's Rod after the game on Svech, not only having a strong game, but having that translate to production and score sheet. I'm going to work on this again. Score sheet statistics. I don't even know why I would choose to say that. Here's Rod after the game talking about Svech.
Talked about this for a long time. Like, your best players have to be your best players. They have to be, at this time of year, noticeable, but they also have to actually be on the score sheet. So, whatever. I mean, he came out, obviously, he's on the score sheet, so that's huge. But, I think he had 5 or 6 shots. I mean, he was around it. And that's, if we want to be successful, you got to get those contributions.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do. Top guys got to play like top guys. It's become like a rallying cry for me about this team. Your top guys have to play like top guys.
Well, we saw in games 1 and 2 here at Lenovo, we didn't see any of those top guys actually beat Markstrom with a goal. It was Martinook, it was Stankoven a couple times, it was Chatfield, it was Gostisbehere. But now in the last couple games, we've seen Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov multiple times. We're starting to see that top group of guys actually finding the back of the net and not just off empty netters as well. So when you have your top guy scoring complemented by secondary scoring, that's when a team can make a deep playoff run.
Coming up next here on Overdrive on 99.9 The Fan, the other big news of the weekend, Panthers draft reaction. Stick around.
Do you ever go to the Carolina Hurricanes games and find yourself thinking, what do the players eat before the game? What are their pregame rituals? What kind of music gets them pumped up ahead of the game? How sacred is the game day nap? What's the postgame mood on the team plane? Check out my new podcast, Iced Tea, with me, Megan LaMontagne. I get to talk to people who spill the tea on the Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to Iced Tea in any podcast app or watch the show on the Fan YouTube channel.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers the most important high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsor, First Carolina Bank. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
The golf season is here. Time to upgrade your game. Head to Global Golf and explore Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned player, our expert staff will get you fit. Are you ready to trade in your current clubs? Global Golf makes it easy to trade in your previously played equipment and upgrade to your next set of clubs. Visit Global Golf today, located on 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh. Global Golf, home of the best deals in golf.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
We are well past the days of concern over a hug, a scraped knee, or a sneeze.
Thanks to scientific advancements, stigma prevention work, and activists like Elizabeth Taylor.
People living with HIV can do and live fully healthy lives
without risk or fear of transmitting the virus to others.
But a different fear remains.
The fear of prosecution simply for living with HIV.
In 30 states, Americans are being imprisoned due to their HIV status.
Even when there is zero risk of transmission.
And when HIV is undetectable, it's untransmissible.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
HIV is not a death sentence nor a deadly weapon.
And it shouldn't be a crime either.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation in the fight to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. HIV is not a crime. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.